Chapter 5151. The reincarnated primordial spirits that walked out did indeed make everyone feel different. The three of them felt like they had been hit in the head. They couldn't believe it. After the reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast cried out, they instantly understood. So these were the legendary reincarnated primordial spirits. The most important thing was to create reincarnated primordial spirits. Weren't there only 10 of them at most? Why did 99 primordial spirits suddenly appear? 99 primordial spirits instantly reduced their strength by half. It really made them dumbfounded. You're the reincarnation emperor's man. Island Lord Luo, Gu exclaimed. No one knew better than him that he was no match for the young man in front of him. Even Gong Jiuzhou and Divine Lord Absolute Heaven were the same. Their strength had been reduced by half. At this moment, fear and unease flashed through their eyes. They had naturally heard of the reincarnation emperor. It was said that this guy's strongest was his reincarnated primordial spirit. His reincarnated primordial spirit could instantly suppress his opponent's strength. When he was at his peak, his reincarnated primordial spirit was incomparably terrifying. But now, someone had cultivated the reincarnated primordial spirit. It wasn't the legendary 10, but a total of 99 reincarnated primordial spirits. That scene was simply too terrifying. If it was anything else, it would be fine. But this reincarnated primordial spirit instantly reduced their strength by half. Even if the three of them worked together, they wouldn't be this person's match. 99 primordial spirits. This was simply bullying. Island Lord Luo, Gu's voice trembled. I am indeed the successor of the reincarnation monarch. Today, I am here to look for my reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast. To think that you guys would have the guts to spend so much effort just to take the reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast away. Do you think that I would agree to that? This was the first time Lin Fei had used 99 primordial spirits. When the 99 primordial spirits appeared, they could truly feel the changes. Just like that, half of their strength had been reduced. Even if they wanted to resist this suppression, they wouldn't be able to do so. 99 primordial spirits were truly powerful. Of course, this was because Lin Fei wasn't that strong. If he was any stronger, he would be able to reduce their strength by 2/3. Instead of half of them being split into 2. Nothing could be more lethal than this sentence. At the very least, all of them could feel the powerful lethality. The reincarnation emperor was also a terrifying lord back then. After he was gone, the forces he belonged to deteriorated year by year. But now, it had become a mediocre force. Now, who would have thought that such a heaven-defying fellow would appear? This guy could actually cultivate 99 of them. This was simply God's favored child. No one dared to believe that this was true. In the distance, the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast was also extremely excited. He actually saw 99 primordial spirits. He had never followed the reincarnation emperor, but he knew that his ancestor had indeed followed the reincarnation emperor. He had made quite a name for himself. Now, there was another successor of the reincarnation emperor. He had cultivated 99 reincarnation primordial spirits. This was simply unbelievable. This was definitely an explosive piece of news. If this were to spread outside, everyone would be dumbfounded. There really was no harm without comparison. Take these elixirs first. Later, I will suppress the poison in your body and help you clean it up. Lin Fei turned around and shouted at the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast. The reincarnation heaven-devouring beast opened its mouth, and a large number of elixirs rolled directly into its body. Various means landed on the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast's body, suppressing the poison. Now, Lin Fei was still able to suppress the poison. He turned around and stared at the three of them. Tell me, how should I deal with you now? The three of you targeted the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast, which means that you're snatching something from me. Snatching something from me won't end well. The three of them each had their own backgrounds. At this moment, they all seemed powerless. The successor of the Reincarnation Emperor was even more terrifying than the previous Reincarnation Emperor. He had 99 reincarnation primordial spirits. Half of his strength had been destroyed. Even a 10-star powerhouse wouldn't dare to do anything to this guy under such circumstances. Fellow Daoist, we are in the wrong in this matter. We are willing to leave immediately, and we can even give you some compensation. That was all he could say. Our flourishing heaven empire doesn't have many good things. As long as we all take a step back in this matter, I'm willing to give you something. Gong Jiuzhou also said, how could they fight in this situation? They all knew it in their hearts. They had to go back and discuss countermeasures. The appearance of such a person would have a great impact on all the forces. I'm sorry, I have cultivated 99 primordial spirits, but I haven't used my full strength yet. Therefore, I hope that you can help me test out the power of my 99 primordial spirits. Boom! The 99 primordial spirits attacked instantly. Chapter 5152. 99 reincarnated spirits were unleashed. Once this power was unleashed, it was truly terrifying. At the very least, the three of them instantly felt immense pressure crushing down on them. Even if they were to bring out their treasures at this moment, their strength had already been slashed. Now that they were up against 99 essence spirits, they were smashed into smithereens with a single boom. Instant kill. This outcome was not surprising to Lin Fei at all. As for the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast, it was also within his expectations. This person who had cultivated 99 reincarnated spirits was simply too terrifying. They were immediately stunned. The other party was strong. The 99 spirit souls stretched out their hands and killed them directly. The 99 spirit souls did not have any treasures, but even so, the strength that they displayed was enough to make them unable to resist. After all, their strength was not as strong as before. Lin Fei looked over and casually took their rings. After all, the three of them had a very strong foundation. Thank you for saving my life. I did not expect to see a reincarnated spirit soul with 99 spirit souls. I am willing to follow you and become your mount. I will fight for you and restore the glory of my ancestor. The reincarnation, heaven-swallowing beast was also very thoughtful. No one knew better than him that following such a person would have great potential in the future. There was even a golden path in front of him. The reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast, of course, knew what to choose. The stronger the person was, the more he would follow. Back then, the reincarnation emperor had relied on the reincarnated spirit souls to become a top expert. This young man who had cultivated 99 spirit souls was even more terrifying. In terms of potential, he had already surpassed the reincarnation emperor by leaps and bounds. The reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast felt like laughing that he could meet such a person. To think that he could actually encounter such a good thing. This was really something that he would not encounter even once in his life. Lin Fei laughed heartily. You really know how to choose. I thought that you would choose to reject. If you did, I would have just taken you in. Since you are willing to be my mount, that's great. Let's make a contract first. In such a situation, Lin Fei was not surprised at all. If this fellow suddenly said that he didn't have any thoughts, then he wouldn't be a reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast. He was extremely strong. However, after encountering the scheme of the Sky Island, things naturally became different. I'm willing to form a contract with you and become your mount. A drop of blood flew out and transformed into an invisible connection. There was a connection between the two of them. The other meaning of Lin Fei and the great reincarnation-devouring beast was a master-servant contract. That was what mounts were all about. After completing the contract, the samsara heaven-swallowing beast instantly transformed into a figure. However, this figure's strength was much weaker than before. He was only in the 7-star realm. This was another small effect of the master-servant contract. He could temporarily transform as long as he was by Lin Fei's side, but he couldn't do it anywhere else. If he wanted to fight, he could only revert to his original form. This was also the favorite way for many powerful existences to stay outside. After all, his original form would attract too much attention. However, if he transformed into a human form, coupled with treasures, basically no one would be able to detect him. Since you're following me now, pack up your things and let's leave this place. After all, there was such a huge commotion in the endless ruins just now. I'm afraid there will be big shots coming soon. Lin Fei didn't think that there was only one reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast in the endless ruins. Previously, he had sensed several powerful auras. None of these powerful auras was inferior to the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast. Although Lin Fei didn't really care, it was better not to cause any trouble at this time. Sir, I feel that you've come to the endless ruins too late this time. There's no need to be in such a hurry to leave, because there will be another grand event held here soon. It's our beast convention. The reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast said immediately. When Lin Fei heard this, even he felt that something was off. There's such a meeting here. It seems like it's not a simple one. I'm afraid it's a competition. Are you also qualified to participate? If it was something else, Lin Fei really wouldn't care. A competition between a group of powerful existences was different. Lin Fei felt that he could still go and take a look. I heard that it's a competition for a precious treasure in the depths of the endless ruins. I heard that obtaining this treasure will allow one's strength to increase again. Therefore, whoever obtains it will become the strongest person in the endless ruins. Chapter 51-53. Hearing such news, Lin Fei didn't plan to leave the endless ruins. No matter what, he had to take a look. The reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast actually had a name. His name was Samsara. In their words, the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beasts almost all had the same name. Moreover, it was very difficult for them to grow. There could only be one in every generation, and he was the only one in this generation. As for whether there were more, no one knew. Even if there were, their strength would be very low. He quietly hid and cultivated. If he didn't have a certain strength, he wouldn't show himself. Because of his talent, he had always been sought after by people. Therefore, he didn't dare to show himself before he was strong enough. Once he showed himself, he would be easily captured and refined into a special existence. Even he had spent more than 1,000 years cultivating in seclusion and rarely showed himself. Now, his strength was considered very strong, but he was still schemed against by Sky Island. If it wasn't for Lin Fei appearing at the crucial moment, he would definitely be captured by them. By then, one could imagine how tragic his outcome would be. With Samsara leading the way, it was completely different. Samsara was still very famous in this area. Along the way, they saw many strong exotic beasts. These strong exotic beasts didn't dare to have any thoughts in front of Samsara. They directly suppressed them. They went all the way to the depths of the endless ruins. This place was a little different from the other places, because there were actually many huge cities in this place. Although these cities were in a damaged state, one could still see the glory of the past. A few figures also flew out and landed on Samsara's body. As for Lin Fei, they didn't seem to care much about him. It was as if they treated him as a casual matter. Samsara, why are you here? Didn't you say that you wouldn't participate in that activity this time? If it wasn't for your aura, I would have thought that someone else came. Could it be that you have thought things through? If you have, then this time, we will have a much higher chance of success if we team up. The few of them also looked like humans. However, their appearances were quite ugly. If they went outside, they would definitely scare people. Samsara laughed heartily. I didn't have any intentions at first, but then I thought it would be interesting, so I had to come and participate. Don't you guys think so? On his way here, Lin Fei had learned about the situation from Samsara. The meeting this time was very lively. there were still many powerful exotic beasts in the endless ruins. Some of these exotic beasts were strong, while others were weak. So, they were all connected to each other and mixed together. For example, Samsara was the same. He also knew a few powerful players who were in a group. This way, when everyone wanted to attack, they would have to think twice about whether they would offend the others. Therefore, when Samsara came over, they immediately came over to greet him. They all knew that Samsara was quite strong, especially after revealing his true form. Coupled with Samsara's techniques, he was still very threatening. Lin Fei had come here to broaden his horizons with Samsara. The people here definitely wouldn't suspect anything. After all, these exotic beasts all had some powerful abilities. That was to control some human experts and make them serve them. Situations like this were quite common here. This was also why these people didn't have any intentions when they came over just now, because they wouldn't suspect that Lin Fei was Samsara's master. The few of them also flew towards the inside. Lin Fei followed behind them slowly. Along the way, they discovered that there was a huge underground city below. This huge city had a large formation set up outside, so they couldn't detect it at all. It was no wonder that Lin Fei could only vaguely sense it. He didn't expect there to be such a formation. This formation looked very ancient. He didn't expect these exotic beasts to use it. This can be considered a base camp for us exotic beasts. All kinds of transactions are held here. We can even see many human experts here. As soon as they entered, Samsara transmitted his voice to them. Lin Fei also felt that this place had become very lively. Although he didn't see their true forms, these people were all shape-shifting. Samsara said that those who could shape-shift were actually very strong. Either they had a certain level of treasure, or they couldn't be underestimated. When they arrived here, Lin Fei saw many figures. Many of them were human experts. They were indeed very strong. Basically, they were at the 8-star level. Most of them were at the 9 stars level. Chapter 51-54. What did these exotic beasts look like? Lin Fei understood that they were all very powerful. Overall, they were much weaker than each other, but they were all on the same side. This kind of situation was relatively common here. Lin Fei followed silently. No one paid too much attention to Lin Fei. This was definitely a good thing for Lin Fei. He didn't want to be targeted by everyone. He came here this time to take a good look. He was also interested in these powerful exotic beasts. If he could tame these powerful exotic beasts, it would be much easier to expand the sect. This was also an idea that Lin Fei had just come up with. It would be for the best if he could get it. After all, there were quite a lot of powerful exotic beasts in the endless ruins. He knew it from Samsara's words. Along the way, Lin Fei had seen all kinds of exotic beasts. Their overall strength was very strong, especially their bodies, which were unbelievably tough. It was definitely not a problem to use them in battle. This made Lin Fei even more envious. He finally understood why ordinary people didn't dare to come to the endless ruins. If they really came here, they would definitely suffer a big loss. Once they suffered a loss, it was very likely that they would lose their lives. Samsara, you came at the right time. There's an auction here. I heard that many human experts are coming. Do you want to get some more? If you have nothing to do, you can eat a few to satisfy your craving. One of the powerful exotic beasts said. The other exotic beast also chimed in. If you hadn't come, we would have been able to buy some powerful human experts by now. I heard that a big merchant came this time, and he brought a lot of experts with him. I also heard that it seems to be a slave trading group this time. They are best at capturing human experts, and they have all kinds of forces behind them. They are constantly fighting. Oh, I remember, it's called the Battle Slave Group. Lin Fei was a little surprised. He didn't expect there to be such a business in the endless ruins. It seemed that this place was not as simple as it seemed. Instead, there were people who came here to do business. Then let's go take a look. I have nothing to do anyway. If there are any, I can buy some. They changed directions, and Samsara sent a voice transmission to them. Sir, from time to time, some slave groups will come here. They will capture some powerful human experts. Basically, those who come here are 7 stars, 8 stars, and 9 stars. However, the price is not fixed, and the quantity and quality are different every time. So it depends on luck. Lin Fei naturally knew why these exotic beasts were so interested in human experts. It was because eating these human experts would increase their strength. It was much faster than cultivating on their own, so over time they had a great need for this aspect. That was why these slave regiments appeared. Anyway, the conference hadn't started yet, and it would take some time. So Lin Fei also wanted to see what this battle berserker slave group was all about. From the looks of it, he seemed to be extremely famous. Is this berserker slave group very famous? Have you heard of it? It seems that they are your regular customers here. Lin Fei could tell that there was something going on. Hence, he asked. He wanted to know more about this battle berserker slave group. Samsara has said this battle berserker slave group is indeed very famous because they are one of the 5 major slave groups in this universe. They have many 10-star experts behind them. I heard that they also know eternal level experts. As for whether it's true or not, I don't know. With this, Lin Fei also knew that this adventure group was indeed different. Not long after, they came to a square, which was surrounded by ruins and looked out of place. At this time, there were many exotic beasts gathered here. There were strong and weak exotic beasts, but they all stared at the human experts in front of them. The strength of these human experts seemed to be sealed, so when they saw them, they looked dejected. Of course, there were some angry eyes. However, they seemed to be of no use at this moment. Those in front are the human experts who have been captured. I heard that whenever a force is breached, the 7, 8, and 9 stars experts will be captured. As for the weaker ones, they will be sold to other places or sent to the mining area to be miners. Samsara continued speaking. Lin Fei saw it too. There were indeed quite a lot of them. At a glance, there seemed to be hundreds of experts, but most of them were 7 and 8 stars. As for 9 stars, there were not many of them. He estimated that there were only about 30 to 40 of them. It seemed that this battle berserker slave group was really quite powerful. To be able to capture so many slaves, it wasn't something that just anyone could do. Chapter 5155. So many human experts were brought here. Indeed, these exotic beasts were excited. Lin Fei could feel it clearly. Of course, for those human experts, this was nothing more than sorrow and despair. Basically, all of them had a dejected look on their faces. Of course, most of them were in despair. Now that they were here, they could feel it clearly. Lin Fei could even feel a different kind of aura from them. The unconventional aura also proved that the cultivation method of these fellows was very different from the one on their side. They probably couldn't be caught in other universes. This wasn't the only universe. There were other universes. Therefore, this battle-crazed slave group was really powerful. No wonder they could become one of the top 5 slave groups. They were indeed powerful. Of course, this wasn't something that Lin Fei cared about. Many exotic beasts began to search for them. The business here was very simple. As long as they offered a high price, they would naturally be able to buy them. After all, there were many powerful exotic beasts here. Of course, exotic beasts like Samsara were considered the most powerful ones here. Except for some who could defeat him, most of the others were no match for him. Therefore, when buying and selling these people, they still had a certain priority. This was the benefit of strength. Sir, do you want to buy some human experts? It's quite cheap at this time. This time, they will basically sell all the human experts here. They won't keep any. Samsara transmitted his voice to him. Lin Fei wasn't interested in this. He said casually, "Let's take a look first. If we come across some good ones, we can buy a few. After all, we need some experts to help us." Lin Fei had his own considerations. After all, he could buy 9 stars experts here. If they were really strong, he could buy them back. Samsara brought Lin Fei forward. 7 stars and 8 stars had all been filtered out. They headed straight for 9 stars. There were a lot more exotic beasts here. However, when they saw Samsara and the others coming over, they restrained their thoughts. One had to know that not everyone could buy a human clan expert. It would be different if they encountered some powerful exotic beasts. No one was willing to offend these powerful exotic beasts. Although there were many territories of various sizes in the endless ruins, the consequences would be quite severe if they offended a powerful exotic beast. He didn't even know when his territory had been breached, and even he would be in trouble. There were about 20 to 39 stars experts here. There were both men and women, but their strength had all been sealed. One could imagine that they must have been very powerful in the past. Lin Fei looked around casually. The aura fluctuations of these 9 stars powerhouses were not very strong. In other words, their foundations were ordinary. He reckoned that the good 9 stars experts had been taken to other places. Lin Fei inexplicably remembered. Suddenly, his gaze landed on one of the women. Lin Fei was a little surprised to see this woman. He actually felt a trace of a familiar aura from this woman. Lin Fei's heart skipped a beat. That's strange. Why can I feel the aura of the Reincarnation Emperor on this woman? No. She must have cultivated the Reincarnation Primordial Spirit. Could she be one of the inheritors of the Reincarnation Emperor? Lin Fei didn't forget the mission he had to do. That was to expand the Reincarnation Emperor's sect. To become a top existence in this universe, this mission was not difficult, but it was not easy either. It would take time. Until now, Lin Fei didn't know whether the Reincarnation Emperor had left behind a sect or not. He had to find it slowly. Now that he had met such a person, Lin Fei immediately realized that he might know some secrets about this person. Therefore, he sent a voice transmission to Samsara. Do you see that woman? No matter what, you have to buy her. She has the aura of the Reincarnation Primordial Spirit. Samsara was shocked when he heard this. He looked over seriously. It was easy to tell that there was only one person who had cultivated the Reincarnation Primordial Spirit. It was really a little familiar. He immediately realized that this person should be related to the Reincarnation Emperor. No problem. I will definitely buy this woman. They will have to give me some face more or less. Samsara was very confident about this. I want this woman no matter how much she is worth. Chapter 51-56. At times like this, Lin Fei was not in a position to speak, but it was different for Samsara. After all, he was one of the more powerful beings here. The others would more or less give him some face. Therefore, after Samsara spoke, many people present had a big change in their attitude. They all knew that Samsara was ready to fight for this woman. This woman looked pretty good. For them, some powerful women were still very useful. However, it was not easy to meet some powerful women. Therefore, such a person was quite expensive. This berserker slave group was really capable. They actually caught such a powerful woman. So it's Master Samsara. You really have a good eye. This is a rather hot rose, and it took me a lot of effort to catch it. She's not cheap. You have to be aware of it. A fat man said with a smile. His eyes were almost squinting into a line. Even his body was like a mountain. However, this did not prevent this fat man from revealing his shrewdness. What are you talking about? Just name your price. Do you think I can't take out a Cosmos Godstone? Samsara snorted coldly. The fatty was still smiling. As expected, he was a good businessman. This woman is worth at least 10 million cubes. As soon as the price was announced, many people's expressions changed. This price was far beyond their imagination. It was quite expensive. Not everyone could accept such a price. Ordinary 9 stars experts would be considered expensive at a few million cubes. However, 10 million cubes was not easy. The fat man continued to speak with a smile on his face. This woman is not simple. She has cultivated the reincarnation primordial spirit. You should know about the reincarnation emperor, right? She is very powerful. In order to capture her, we sent out more than 10 nine-star powerhouses. In the end, 4 or 5 of them were killed. We suffered heavy losses. So, you know what I mean. Hearing this, the surrounding people came to a sudden realization. No wonder. She had cultivated the reincarnation primordial spirit. It was said that the reincarnation emperor was very powerful in the past. I'll take the 10 million cubes. Luan Xiang did not even think about the price and immediately agreed to it. After all, he had promised the Lord. He had to take this woman down. That woman didn't move at all. She just lowered her head and was filled with despair. This kind of despair had already spread and her heart was like dead ashes. The fatty laughed. Lord Samsara is indeed a rich person. He did not even blink and is willing to spend 10 million cubes of Cosmos Godstones. This kind of 9 stars powerhouse was easy to sell. Just as Fatty finished speaking, another voice floated over from afar. Samsara, you really don't have much money. You want to buy her with a mere 10 million cubes? I'm really sorry, but I also like this woman. I'll pay 15 million cubes. Several silhouettes walked over from afar. When these silhouettes walked over, Samsara and the others' expressions changed subtly. Samsara also looked over. So it's you. I was wondering who it was. You're quite arrogant to actually add 5 million cubes. You really have too much money. Are you sure you want to compete with me to the end? I want this woman. You should know that it's rare for me to have something that I like. Samsara was starting to get anxious. If it was something else, it wouldn't matter. However, this person in front of him was quite capable. Compared to him, he was even slightly stronger. Even the power behind this person was stronger. At the same time, he transmitted a message to Lin Fei. Lord, I'm afraid there's a little trouble. This fella is an enemy of mine. I've been fighting with him for hundreds of years without a clear victor. I'm afraid I'll have to spend quite a lot of Cosmos Godstones to take down this woman. Samsara was very clear about this point. Therefore, he told him in advance. Although he had quite a lot of Cosmos Godstones here, he was still lacking compared to this fella. Lin Fei originally thought that he had a 90% chance of success. Unexpectedly, there was an accident. Someone actually came to snatch this woman. It seemed like the endless ruins wasn't peaceful either. This fella was clearly stronger than Samsara. The same was true for the people behind him. They should be from a large group. Otherwise, Samsara wouldn't have said such a thing. Therefore, he transmitted a message back. It doesn't matter. Just bid as much as you want. I have a lot of money, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem to suppress him. Of course, if he offers too much, then we'll change the method. Isn't he your sworn enemy? Then we'll get him. Chapter 51-57. After hearing what Lin Fei said, Samsara understood what was going on. Of course, he wanted to destroy this guy too. However, he couldn't defeat him. Now that he had Lord, things were completely different. Even he couldn't defeat Lord, let alone this guy. Therefore, he could really take a look at this guy this time. At this moment, everyone recognized who this person was. He was also a powerful beast in the endless ruins. This guy was arrogant and overbearing. It was said that he had offended many people, but there were many strong people standing behind him. Everyone was very tactful and didn't want to offend him. After saying this, they knew that it would be difficult for Samsara to get this woman. The fat man in the distance was beaming even more brightly. Originally, he thought that she could only be sold for 10 million cubes. He didn't expect another buyer to come. This buyer was rich. He added another 5 million cubes in one go. Perhaps this woman could be sold for 30 to 40 million cubes. He would definitely make a fortune. Oh, Lord Nanfeng is here. The fatty greeted them with a smile. Nanfeng walked up to him. I'll add another 5 million cubes. Are you sure you want to compete with me? You know that I don't have much else but money. At most, I can buy a 9 stars expert at a high price. Moreover, one who has cultivated the reincarnation primordial spirit. I'm still very interested. Nanfeng looked as if he had samsara in the bag. Samsara laughed heartily. Although you're rich, if you want to buy her, it depends on how much money you can spend. After all, no one's money comes from the wind. Don't you agree? We earned it all. Samsara laughed heartily. That's right. Nanfeng was a little interested in this woman. After all, she had cultivated the reincarnation primordial spirit. One had to know that the samsara yuan spirit was extremely difficult to cultivate. Not everyone could cultivate it. Even if one managed to cultivate it, one had to be very talented. Coincidentally, Nanfeng cultivated a puppet technique. He wanted to see if he could refine this woman. That would be much more interesting. However, he didn't expect samsara to be so determined. It was a little different from usual, which made him a little puzzled. That's interesting. You actually want to compete with me? Then come and try. Let's see how long I can fork out the money. Don't let me cheat you when the time comes. The South was also smiling. Samsara laughed heartily. If you bid 15 million cubes, then I'll bid 30 million cubes. How about it? I've added enough money, right? Fatty, you're going to earn a lot this time. This time, of course, the fatty was all smiles. After all, the berserker slaves never got involved in anything. When selling something, sell it to the person who offers the highest price. Everyone understood this principle. No one would blame the berserker, slave group at all, who told the battle-crazed slaves to have a looming eternal powerhouse behind them. Nanfeng laughed heartily. Samsara, you're really fast. You actually added so much in such a short time. Then I'll add a little more. Let's go over 50 million cubes. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Whether it was Samsara or Nanfeng, they were both rich. Especially Nanfeng. He was a powerful exotic beast. It was said that his net worth was very high. 50 million cubes was difficult. He didn't take the Cosmos Godstone seriously at all. Lin Fei, who had been silent all this while, sighed. It seemed that these powerful exotic beasts in the endless ruins were quite rich. They could easily bid tens of millions. If it was someone else, they might not be able to beat them. For a moment, Lin Fei even wondered if he should go and kill a few powerful exotic beasts. This way, he would be able to gain a lot of wealth. He definitely wouldn't suffer a loss. For example, Nanfeng. This guy's net worth was definitely high enough. Samsara laughed heartily again. However, there was a trace of embarrassment in his laughter. I didn't expect you to bid 50 million cubes. Then I'll bid 80 million cubes again. If you can still bid higher than mine, then I'll let you have her. After all, I like this woman very much. Upon hearing this, Lin Fei laughed in his heart. It seemed that Samsara was prepared to cheat the other party. He wanted to see if the other party wanted it. If the other party didn't want it, then Lin Fei wouldn't have wasted his money in saving this woman. Was 80 million cubes a lot? It wasn't much at all. When the time came, he would naturally find a time to earn the money back. Anyway, his Cosmos Godstone was taken from the other party's treasury. He really didn't earn much. So you're out of money after increasing to 80 million cubes. I'm sorry. How about 80 million cubes? Samsara's face turned even uglier. 100 million cubes. Come if you can. Chapter 5158. In everyone's eyes, just as Samsara was about to give up, no one expected him to bite the bullet and offer another price. He actually offered 100 million cubes. This price was really a super number. Even Defan was the same. He squinted his eyes so much that they almost couldn't be seen. How happy! He actually caught a big fish this time. Who would have thought? Samsara and Nanfeng were willing to pay such a high price for this woman. There was suspicion of raising the price, but it was nothing to Defan. If he could sell this woman, he would make a huge profit. His superiors would definitely praise him for it. He might even get a lot of commission. He really came to the right place this time. Every time he came to the endless ruins, Defan would more or less worry. Because some prices weren't easy to sell, These powerful exotic beasts weren't easy to negotiate. Sometimes it was normal to lose hundreds of thousands of cubes or even millions of cubes. They wouldn't say much about it. After all, this was a long-term matter. They still had to do business. But this time he gave them a huge surprise. It was a huge surprise. 100 million cubes. This woman could have been sold for 30 to 40 million cubes, and that would have been a huge profit. Now he'd made a huge profit. Now, it was up to Nanfeng whether he wanted it or not. If he did, he would definitely make a huge profit. But he felt that Nanfeng was quite smart. He definitely wouldn't make another bid. In reality, that was indeed the case. Nanfeng obviously saw Samsara's embarrassed expression. That meant that this guy didn't have that much money. Don't be fooled by the tens of millions they spent. In reality, it was all hard-earned money. As a result, Samsara's offer of 100 million cubes wasn't something that just anyone could afford. Haha, Samsara, you're really willing to spend money. I didn't expect you to spend 100 million cubes on a woman. I really admire you. Since you like this woman so much, I'll let you have her. Nanfeng obviously wouldn't make another bid. His money didn't grow on trees. He was prepared to scam Samsara. If he could buy her, that would be for the best. He could afford 80 million cubes. However, 100 million cubes was not necessary. He even hoped that Samsara would use up all of his wealth. If that happened, he would have to sell this woman no matter what. If he were to resell it, he would probably only be able to sell it for half the price, or even 10 or 20 million cubes. If he bought it himself, he would save a lot of money, so he might as well let Samsara do it. Samsara's face instantly darkened. Lin Fei had to admit that Samsara was quite good at acting. As for the woman who had been in despair, she raised her head, revealing a delicate face. A trace of shock flashed across his face. He had actually been bought by someone for a price of 100 million cubes, which was enough to buy a top-notch treasure. The woman continued to lower her head. He continued to act the same as before. Isn't it just 100 million cubes? It's not like I can't afford it. You're the one who's reluctant to increase the price. You disappoint me. Samsara laughed heartily and looked at Nanfeng mockingly. Nanfeng could tell that Samsara was short of money. Who cares if you can be smug? Spending 100 million cubes on such a woman will soon become a joke in the endless ruins. I'm not interested in women, but I think the others are not bad. Pack them up for me. I need a group of followers. Nanfeng packed up the rest of the people without hesitation. This time the fatty was the happiest. He didn't expect these 9 stars experts to be sold off so quickly. This was really beyond his imagination. No problem, no problem. I'll handle it for you now. Samsara didn't say anything more to Nanfeng. He just looked at them coldly. Then he talked to Lin Fei in private. Your Excellency, I'm quite good at acting. Although I spent 100 million. This guy definitely has at least 100 or 200 million with him. If we can kill him, we'll definitely have a big harvest. Lin Fei knew that Samsara was up to something. However, this guy was indeed a big fat sheep. Lin Fei could see it too. Don't worry. Let him be cocky for a while. Aren't you going to attend the conference? He must have gone to a secret land. When the time comes, we'll work together to get rid of him. Lin Fei was getting more and more excited about this idea. Chapter 51-59. Just like that, Samsara painfully took out 100 million cubic meters of universe godstones. At that time, many people were shocked. They didn't expect Samsara to be willing to take out such a huge sum of money to buy this woman. It was too much. Even the people around him were the same. They were also a little confused. They didn't know why Samsara was willing to spend such a huge sum of money. The news spread like the wind. Many powerful beings were in disbelief. Did Samsara go crazy? They actually spent so much money to buy a goddess. What a joke! And this woman was taken away by Samsara. After saying a few words to his companions, Samsara left. Samsara also had his own residence in the endless ruins. It was a huge residence in the endless ruins. The inside was well preserved. No one had touched anything. A place like this was quite famous. "Sir, this is my mansion. Don't be fooled by the dilapidated exterior. The inside is well preserved. It's just that everyone is too lazy to clean it up. This way it won't be too eye-catching." Samsara brought Lin Fei into a mansion. The outside of the mansion looked like it was in ruins, but the inside was a separate space. It was quite unbelievable. It seemed like the endless land was quite different back then. No wonder so many ruins were left untouched. For a moment, Lin Fei wondered where these guys were going to stay. So it was because he was ill-informed. He guessed that there was a space beneath these ruins. This meant that there should be a powerful spatial expert in this endless land. At the very least, he should be an eternal expert. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to set up a mansion like this. After entering, Lin Fei could feel the changes. He had also grasped space and time, but both of them were still in the early stages. But he could tell that this place was different. It was definitely a good place. It was a place like this. Once one entered, it wouldn't be easy for outsiders to enter. It would take a long time for them to break through the barrier. Samsara continued, "Sir, you can be completely at ease here. The formation here is very strong. Outsiders can't penetrate it at all, let alone know what's going on. However, I have a secret room here with a new formation set up. It can be said to be layered together. It's definitely the most suitable place for us to talk." Samsara also knew that this was not a small matter. After all, this woman had cultivated the Samsara primordial spirit. Naturally, she had to find a more secretive place. Just like that, they arrived at one of the secret chambers. This secret room was indeed like what Samsara had said. There were layers upon layers of array formations in this secret room. It was indeed quite incredible. It's pretty old. I wonder where Samsara got it from. I'll stand guard outside for you. You can stay inside. That fellow immediately returned. His main body lay outside as if he was guarding the door, which surprised the woman a little. He had no idea what this beast was trying to do. At this moment, only Brother Lin Fei and this woman were left in the secret chamber. Although this woman's heart was dead, the current situation was a little different, because this person was actually in the secret chamber. This Samsara actually ran outside. This was a little unbelievable. One should know that this was the endless ruins. That was the world of exotic beasts. Humans were at most lackeys there. People like the Battle Berserker slave group could be counted on one's fingers. Those who came in from the outside were either taken down or eaten up by these beasts. Do you find it strange that you and I are the only ones left?" Lin Fei smiled. He took out something and placed it on the table. Then he waved his hand. He undid all the seals on the woman's body. Instantly, the woman regained her freedom. She was stunned. She couldn't believe what had happened. The power in her body flowed. Only then did she feel that she wasn't dreaming. Her techniques were unlocked. "How is it? Do you feel like you're dreaming?" "Actually, I do have a certain relationship with you. Why don't we sit down and have a chat first?" Lin Fei said unhurriedly. This made the woman even more curious. She didn't do anything. After all, this was the endless ruins. Even if she managed to escape, the powerful exotic beast outside wasn't something she could defeat. "Who are you? Why did you release me and even restore my strength?" Chapter 5160. Chu Qingqing was really surprised. She was already prepared to accept her fate. But now, Chu Qingqing felt as though she had regained her freedom. She felt that it was a little unbelievable. She felt like she was dreaming. She was prepared to listen to what was going on. Because you have cultivated the reincarnation, primordial spirit. If you had not cultivated the reincarnation, primordial spirit, you would not be sitting here and I would not have brought you here. Chu Qingqing was even more confused. They had indeed cultivated the reincarnation spirit, but not everyone could cultivate it. Could this person have cultivated the reincarnation spirit too? She had no idea. She was very confused. This person was also very unfamiliar. Could he have cultivated the reincarnation spirit too? But that was impossible. The reincarnation spirit was very difficult to cultivate, and the number of people who could cultivate it could be counted on one hand. Chu Qingqing naturally knew how difficult it was to cultivate the reincarnation spirit. 99% of people couldn't do it. Just like her, she had used some secret techniques to successfully cultivate the first reincarnation spirit. If she wanted to cultivate the second one, she would need a longer time. Cultivating one was already very terrifying. She heard that the first-generation patriarch cultivated a total of 10 reincarnation spirits. Once the reincarnation formation was activated, countless people were suppressed. It was the glory of the first generation. The current generation had only cultivated and produced 3 reincarnated primordial spirits. 3 reincarnation spirits was already very powerful. Unfortunately, whoosh, whoosh. One by one, the reincarnation spirits walked out from behind Lin Fei. The first one, then the second one, and the third one. When Chu Qingqing was the first to walk out, she was shocked. She actually saw a reincarnation spirit with a thick aura. Then she saw the second and third one, all the way until there were 10 reincarnation spirits. Chu Qingqing stood up. She was incomparably shocked. You actually cultivated 10 reincarnation spirits. Oh my God, how is that possible? Other than the first generation patriarch, no one else has cultivated 10 reincarnation spirits. Chu Qingqing was completely shocked. She was dumbfounded and her mouth was open so wide that a duck egg could be stuffed in. It was a shocking scene. There was actually someone who could cultivate 10 reincarnation primordial spirits, aura as one. This was definitely the real deal. There was no way he could be wrong. Lin Fei put away the reincarnation primordial spirit. Actually, I only managed to obtain the legacy by chance and cultivate out 10 reincarnation primordial spirits. Earlier on, I sensed that you had cultivated out a reincarnation primordial spirit. That's why I asked Samsara to buy you. Chu Qingqing immediately understood why this powerful exotic beast hadn't done anything all this while. It turned out that this young man had captured it and turned it into a mount. Ah, so it's you, elder brother. Thank you for helping me. There's hope for the house of Great Void. Chu Qingqing cried tears of joy. No one understood one thing better than her. The Great Void sect finally had hope again. Can you tell me what happened to you guys? Logically speaking, someone like you who has cultivated a reincarnation primordial spirit is also very strong. There shouldn't be anyone who can easily deal with you. Lin Fei could naturally feel that Chu Qingqing's emotions were fluctuating wildly. Recalling the fatty's words, Lin Fei knew that Chu Qingqing must have encountered something big. Chu Qingqing should be from the House of Great Void. Lin Fei really didn't know much about this sect. After hearing Lin Fei's words, Chu Qingqing also came back to her senses. She sat down again. Compared to before, she was clearly in a much better mood. She saw a glimmer of hope in her. Elder brother, don't you know that our sect is called the House of Great Void? However, the Great Void sect was still around, but half a year ago, the entire Great Void sect was flattened. Our senior brothers and sect leaders were all captured. Woo! Chu Qingqing started crying again. There was nothing that could make her sadder than this. She might not be so sad about other things, but her sect was razed. Naturally, she couldn't sit still. Moreover, he saw a powerful senior brother at this time. This senior brother had even cultivated 10 reincarnation primordial spirits. If Chu Qingqing knew that Lin Fei didn't cultivate 10 reincarnation primordial spirits, but 99 reincarnation primordial spirits, she would definitely be shocked. The House of Great Void was raised? How could it be raised? Logically speaking, the first-generation patriarch should have left behind a lot of resources. This shouldn't have happened. Lin Fei frowned. He finally understood why the system would give him such a mission. He thought that he had to start from scratch, but it seemed like he didn't have to. As long as he saved these people, he might be able to get twice the results with half the effort. Chapter 5161. Chu Qingqing began to speak slowly. With this, Lin Fei also knew what was going on. It turned out that the Great Void sect's strength had fallen too quickly in the past few hundred years, and some of their experts had been destroyed by others from time to time. If it wasn't this troublesome matter, then it was that troublesome matter. It was obvious that someone was targeting their Great Void sect. Later on, someone investigated and found out that it was actually a powerful force with eternal existences that were targeting the Great Void sect. Back then, they had been suppressed by the Great Void sect for a period of time. Later on, when the experts of the Great Void sect no longer existed, the sect slowly became stronger. It was said that they even managed to cultivate to the eternal level. This way, the Great Void sect was slowly taken care of, and half a year ago, this powerful force finally made a move and destroyed the Great Void sect. Of course, this kind of destruction wasn't true destruction, but they captured some of their people. I know why they captured all of our people. It's because our Great Void sect has a treasure trove that was left behind by the first-generation ancestor. Only the previous sect masters knew about it. I heard that the treasure trove is worth 100 billion cubes. With such a value, Lin Fei understood why those people were willing to make a move. It was definitely a big piece of meat. Without a certain amount of strength, one wouldn't be able to eat this big piece of meat. A force with an eternal level powerhouse naturally had the confidence to bite off this big fat piece of meat. Don't look at how Samsara could take out 100 million. In reality, the net worth was only a few tens of millions. But that Nan Feng was different. His net worth was at least a few 100 million. Of course, this was also because he had a powerful background. An ordinary person would only have a few tens of millions. It would be amazing to have a few billion, not to mention tens of billions. Only some powerful sects would have things that were worth 100 billion cubes. If it was worth 100 billion cubes, then the true value would be much higher because some things couldn't be measured by value. Senior brother, this is one of the keys to enter the treasury. When they made their move, the sect master gave me this key. He said that as long as I leave, they will naturally not have the chance to open the treasury. Only with enough keys can they open it. As long as I have this key, they will not act recklessly. Chu Qingqing took out another key. This key was really different because the moment he held it in his hand, Lin Fei knew that it was a genuine key. It was the aura of the reincarnation primordial spirit. He also understood why that power wanted to capture the people of the Great Void sect. Even the house leader was the same, because only those who had cultivated the reincarnation Yuan Shin could activate these keys. Without the reincarnation primordial spirit, it was useless. No matter who came, it would not work. It seemed that the first-generation patriarch's methods were quite fierce. Even they could not break it in a short time. I'll keep this thing for you for the time being, lest you get targeted again. You can rest here for a while and cultivate. If there's anything you don't understand about the reincarnation primordial spirit, I can teach you. Since those people wanted the treasury, Lin Fei was not in a hurry. He would first settle the matter of the endless ruins. This was a big matter. Whether he could pull a group of people out of here would be of great help to Lin Fei. The current strength of the Great Void sect was too weak. Just now, he had already learned some of the situation from Chu Qingqing. The current strongest house leader of the Great Void sect had only cultivated 3 reincarnation Yuanshin, which was really too weak. As for those who cultivated 1 or 2 reincarnation Yuanshin, it was even more pitiful. Counting all of them, there were probably less than 10. Among them, Chu Qingqing was one of the more talented ones. She cultivated the reincarnation Yuan Shen in the shortest time. This was also the reason why Chu Qingqing could come out with the key. Unfortunately, it was taken by the battle-crazed slave group. Fortunately, the battle-crazed slave group did not know that Chu Qingqing had a key on her. They only thought that since she was a 9 stars expert, she could naturally be sold for a good price. Although that power was also capturing the people of the Great Void Sect, the battle-crazed slave group was not in cahoots with them. They would not send their people over. Sending them over would not be of much value, but selling them to the endless ruins would be completely different. They would definitely be able to make a fortune. This was why they had to come. Chu Qingqing nodded. I will listen to senior brother. Chapter 5162. Chu Qingqing stayed in the mansion, just like that. She knew what she should do at a time like this, especially in the aspect of primordial spirit cultivation. She realized that she really knew too little. Her senior brother was really too powerful. With just a few words, he could make her see the light, and she could grasp the essence of it in an instant. The path that was originally stuck was cleared. Therefore, in this short period of time, she managed to cultivate a second reincarnation, primordial spirit. Of course, this second reincarnation, primordial spirit, wasn't easy and consumed a lot of resources. However, Lin Fei still had a lot of resources on him. Then he allowed her to cultivate a third reincarnation, primordial spirit, causing Chu Qingqing's strength to soar. Although she was still in the realm of 9 stars, her strength could gradually erupt out a lot. This also made Chu Qingqing more confident and looked forward to this senior brother, bringing her out of the endless ruins. Sir, it's about to begin. I heard that we're going to the endless abyss this time. It's a world in an alternate dimension. Samsara didn't stay idle recently and kept going out to inquire about the situation. Because the place they were going to this time seemed to be a little different, he left early and returned late. Finally, he managed to find some information. After all, this information couldn't be hidden, so he immediately came back to report it. So, it's going to the alternate dimension. This is good. Once we go to the alternate dimension, there will be more opportunities to make a move. Lin Fei had already done his calculations. He was prepared to bring back a powerful hand. As for where he would get it from, as for where to get them, of course, he had to find a safer place. The alternate dimension would be completely different because the rules of the world there were even more different. It would be more powerful. Similarly, no one would be able to detect it. These days, Lin Fei had been signing in here. However, he didn't get anything good from signing in, which disappointed him. Therefore, it might be better to go to the alternate dimension. Then, go and get another set of information. Mark out some of the beasts that are going this time. I'll see which ones we can get back. Samsara went out to do something again. This guy was quite eager to run errands. Chu Qingqing also came out. Senior brother, are you going to get some beasts back? But these exotic beasts are too powerful. I wonder if they'll behave themselves. Of course. Chu Qingqing could guess some of his thoughts. This was an exotic beast from the endless ruins. It was very powerful. Even in this universe, it was relatively famous. However, there weren't many people who could come here. It was the same even for 9-star experts. Even though Chu Qingqing possessed late-stage 9 stars battle prowess in the past, she didn't dare to come here. Even though she was a full-stage 9 stars battle prowess now, she was still very wary of the exotic beasts in the endless ruins. If they encountered 1 or 2 of them, they might be able to block them, but if they encountered 3 or 5 of them, it was basically hopeless. You're quite smart. That's exactly what I'm thinking. You also know that our Great Void Sect is still a bit weak. The reincarnation primordial spirit isn't that easy to cultivate. Unlike you, we have to bring some experts back with us. That way, we'll suffer a lot of losses. Don't they have Eternal Realm experts? However, Eternal experts rarely ask about things, so there are only 9 stars and 10 stars experts. Lin Fei didn't hide anything, so he spoke his mind. because the foundation of the Great Void sect was indeed a bit weak. If he didn't bring back some powerful exotic beasts from the endless ruins, he wouldn't be able to play at all. He couldn't possibly do it himself, right? These exotic beasts from the endless ruins were still quite useful. Senior Brother's idea is really great. If we have these powerful exotic beasts, it will be a great help to our Great Void sect. At the very least, we can reach the level of a first-rate force. No, we should be able to enter the top level. Recently, Chu Qingqing had been cultivating very hard. Of course, her mood was getting better and better. With such a powerful senior brother, perhaps the Great Void sect would once again stand on this side of the universe. It was also quite possible. In the blink of an eye, another half a month had passed. Samsara had also collected a lot of information. Lin Fei had also done some analysis and confirmed some targets to capture. Therefore, he was very busy from start to finish. The day had finally arrived. It was the day to go. This time, there would be a lot of powerful exotic beasts heading there. Chu Qingqing stayed in the mansion. It was really not a good time to go there. If she went there, it would inevitably attract attention. Therefore, only Lin Fei would go with Samsara. After arriving at the designated place, there were many powerful exotic beasts. Many of them were ones that Lin Fei had seen in the information. Comparing them with each other, he immediately had a deep impression of them. Samsara, I heard that you've been going in and out recently. Did you spend all your money this time? Chapter 5163. There were indeed quite a number of exotic beasts in this place. However, just as Samsara arrived, he heard a voice coming from behind him. This voice clearly carried a tone of schadenfreude. Who else could it be if it wasn't Nan Feng? This fella really knew how to find the right time to talk. Samsara glared at him. Of course, he knew what was going on. This fella probably did a lot of publicity for him. He didn't pay much attention to him recently, but the people around him told him that this fella really released a lot of information. It was really hard to tell who came in. Samsara laughed coldly in his heart. I'll let you be cocky for a while more. When I go to another place, I'll destroy you. Who asked you to offend my lord? I can't deal with you alone, but with my lord, things will be different. He can definitely take you down. Unfortunately, Nan Feng didn't know what Samsara was thinking about. I'm sorry, I still have a lot of money. There's really nothing to worry about. But you can't get that woman if you want. It won't be easy. I have to take care of a woman worth 100 million. Don't you think so? Samsara burst into laughter. Many people around them also looked over. They had heard about the recent events. Samsara and Nan Feng were fighting over a woman. In the end, they spent 100 million universe godstones. That was really shocking. No one had expected Samsara to be so generous. It was unbelievable. On the other hand, this Nan Feng was quite interesting. He was actually fighting with Samsara over something to buy. Looking at the situation, it seemed that the conflict between the two of them had deepened. Nan Feng had purposely come over to mock Yixiao. Recently, Samsara had been going in and out. He wondered if Yixiao had run out of money, so he wanted to give it a try. He didn't expect this fella to have such a temper. It seemed like he wasn't going to leave. Fortunately, Nan Feng wasn't in a hurry. I'm just asking. You don't have to make such a big fuss. If you run out of money, you can tell me. For example, I can give you a 20% discount for that woman of yours. At the very least, you can get back some of your money. What do you think? Nan Feng didn't bother with Samsara after saying that. He stood to the side. Everyone looked over. He had achieved his goal. He just needed to let everyone know that Samsara was a spendthrift. This way, he would have more smiles on his face. Nan Feng's actions had indeed made everyone remember Samsara. This was a top big shot. His methods were also very fierce. However, the amount of money he spent this time was indeed a little puzzling to everyone. Since when did a human woman have such great charm? They really couldn't imagine it. My lord, I thought this guy wouldn't come today. Since he's here, let's kill him first. I'm already gnashing my teeth at him. In other places, Samsara wouldn't say such things, but here, things were different. In any case, he already had the intention to destroy the other party, and it was probably the same for his lord. Lin Fei smiled. It doesn't matter. As long as he dares to come, we can send him back. There were more and more people, and they were all standing there. They were all powerful exotic beasts. Apart from them, they also brought many people with them. Some of them were slaves of the human race, and all of them were very powerful. Lin Fei had been very clear about this before. At other times, Lin Fei didn't pay much attention to it before. However, it was different this time. These powerful exotic beasts really made Lin Fei feel like he couldn't catch them. His thoughts were getting stronger and stronger. Even some of the beasts that he had seen on the list came out. Not long after, a powerful golden beast came out. When this golden beast came out, everyone quieted down. Samsara also transmitted his voice. My lord, this is one of the 3 experts of our endless ruins. He's called God Lord Zemu. As soon as God Lord Zemu appeared, he was indeed a terrifying existence. He was definitely a 10-star great circle existence. Even Lin Fei could feel it. This was the only opponent that made him feel a little bit of fear. No wonder he could suppress so many exotic beasts in the endless ruins. This guy's strength is very strong. Will the other 2 come this time? Don't just send one. There were 3 experts in the endless ruins. This god Lord Zemu was one of them. Lin Fei had also seen some information about the other 2. It seemed like no one had come. The 2 of them probably won't show up because they don't care about anything. The only one in charge is this god, Lord Zemu. Chapter 5164. The moment God Lord Zemu arrived, the scene became quiet. Everyone listened. God Lord Zemu's gaze swept across everyone, and when his gaze swept across them, they all felt a chill run down their spines. Everyone could feel how terrifying and powerful God Lord Zemu was. He seemed even more powerful than before. I'm very happy that all of you could come and participate in this expedition. This time, we're going to conquer an alternate world. This alternate world isn't very big, but it's very rich in resources. I spent a lot of effort to open a path to this place, so we'll be inside for a year. God Lord Zewood's words caused everyone's mood to change. It was very different now. Even Lin Fei was surprised. This god Lord Zemu was quite capable. He really went to an alternate world and thought that it was some other secret realm. There was a big difference between a secret realm and an alternate world. Most importantly, there were definitely experts from that alternate world. Most importantly, this guy was able to open a path. One could imagine that God Lord Zemu and the other 2 experts had a lot of tricks up their sleeves. So, the rules this time are the same as before. After you go to the alternate world, when you return, you must hand over 30% of the treasures. The rest will be yours. Understood? God Lord Zemu's voice floated over once more. It was sonorous and powerful. Everyone agreed. A smile appeared on God Lord Zemu's face. Then let's get ready and head out. I hope that everyone will have a good collection. However, I have to remind everyone that there are many experts in that place, and they aren't the slightest bit inferior to us. So, be careful and don't get destroyed by them. That would be a loss of face for all of you. Lin Fei slightly furrowed his brows. He could also feel that this alternate world was from God Lord Zemu's words. It shouldn't be as peaceful as he imagined it to be. Thinking about it, it made sense. If he tried to invade another place, the people of that place would definitely retaliate, but God Lord Swampwood was able to confirm that this was a place. However, for God Lord Zemu to determine this place, this alternate world would naturally be different. However, it was also possible that they would be used as cannon fodder. Many thoughts appeared in Lin Fei's mind. Whoosh! A dimensional door was opened just like that. The moment the space-time door was opened, everything changed instantly. Everyone could feel that there was a huge world on the other side of the space-time door. This was the so-called otherworldly realm. This otherworldly world seemed to have some powerful auras. No wonder God, Lord Zhe-Mu, said that. Lin Fei's gaze seemed to want to see through the dimensional rift and reach that area. However, the dimensional rift was indeed a very powerful existence. It was said that only some of the top existences could use these things. He could go to any place at any time and place, and he could even set his location. With a whoosh, the space-time gate was finally opened, and God Lord Zhe-Mu stood at the side. If you don't want to go, you can stay. If you want to go, then do it as soon as possible. I will only open this space-time gate for 30 breaths of time. You have to be prepared. 30 breaths of time was neither long nor short. As soon as it opened, many figures rushed in. To them, conquering other worlds had always been one of their favorite things to do. Without adventure, there would be no wealth. They agreed with this point. In the blink of an eye, most of them had entered. Samsara and Lin Fei also rushed in. As soon as they entered, they realized that this was a tunnel. In the blink of an eye, they entered another world. The rich spiritual energy of this world surged over, instantly making everyone feel different. However, they didn't stop. In the blink of an eye, they had left. Lin Fei and Samsara did the same. They immediately left. When they arrived, they clearly sensed a powerful intent coming for them. It was easy to imagine that this was no weaker than an expert like God Lord Zhe-Mu. When this thought swept over them, everyone's expression changed slightly. They didn't have anything to worry about. After all, they weren't the only ones who came this time. There were also the 3 strongest experts. Now that the 3 strongest experts were here, the situation was naturally different. Of course, this place is really different. It's filled with treasures of the world. No wonder God, Lord Zhe-Mu, could find this place. He probably bought the information from somewhere else. Samsara was quite clear that this other world was definitely bought from the world building. Only the world building had such detailed information. And it was also a place that God Lord Zhe-Mu believed that they could defeat. Moreover, if the 3 of them worked together, no one could stop them. As long as this other world didn't have an eternal expert, they would be the strongest. Then they would be the strongest. Chapter 5165. Lin Fei and Samsara kept shuttling back and forth. This other world, it seemed to be quite big. Of course, it was still very different from the universe on their side. After confirming that there was no danger, Lin Fan stopped. If nothing unexpected happens, they will soon launch an attack on the natives. My lord, what should we do now? Should we look for Nan Feng? That guy probably doesn't even know that I've done something to him. Samsara was very concerned about this matter. Who asked that guy to be so arrogant in front of him? In the past, it was fine if he was arrogant. But now things were different. With his lord, he could deal with Nan Feng ruthlessly. Lin Fei laughed heartily. Unlike them, we don't need to fight in this otherworldly world. What we need to do is subdue them one by one. If we can subdue the 3 great experts, that would definitely be a wonderful thing. Lin Fei said with a smile. There was one very important thing that he didn't forget, and that was to sign in. Since it was his first time coming to this other world, he should at least give a greeting gift, right? Ding! White Bay World sign-in successful. Received Messenger of Peace identity. Can be maintained for 1 year. When such a reward came out, even Lin Fei was slightly taken aback. What kind of reward was this? Messenger of Peace? Could it be that he could remain neutral in this world? If that was the case, it would be pretty good. After all, Lin Fei also felt a powerful aura just now. It wasn't inferior to God, Lord Zhe-Mu, and the others in the slightest. It could be seen that these people had quite a temper. If he became neutral, it would be completely different. He could leisurely do his own things, and he could even cooperate with these people. This reward was quite good. As expected of a greeting gift, it was indeed quite good. Okay, let's look for Nanfeng first. After all, he's a big fat sheep. If he's killed, we'll suffer a loss. Since you've done something to him, you should go and find him. After all, your methods are quite mysterious. Samsara was naturally very happy. He immediately took out a treasure. It was something like a treasure-seeking pearl. When it was pushed, it would instantly head towards a certain place. Nanfeng didn't expect me to have such a treasure. I only need a little bit of his aura to lock onto his position. I spent a lot of money to get this. If anyone dares to offend me, I'll kill them even if I have to go to the ends of the earth. Samsara wasn't just happy, even Lin Fei could feel it. Samsara must have wanted to deal with Nanfeng for a long time. It was just that they never had the chance to do so. How far-sighted! Nanfeng probably didn't even know that he was being targeted. When Lin Fei and Samsara came out again, they found that there were auras sweeping over them from time to time. It seemed that the people in this world already knew that there were invaders. They would probably start fighting soon. Their speed along the way was quite fast. The bead kept flying. This meant that Nanfeng and the others had been moving non-stop. They didn't stop at all. In a place like this, they had to act in advance. When they rushed over, they discovered that Nanfeng and the others were attacking a city. This time, Nanfeng had brought many helpers. If they weren't 8-star experts, then they were 9-star experts. When they took a closer look, weren't they the human race slaves that they had bought previously? They had all been slightly adjusted. All of them were wearing heavy armor. Of course, these heavy armors were also treasures. Things were different after they made their move. In addition, these treasures directly attacked the city and plundered it. Then they rushed to the next location. Lin Fei observed in the dark for a while. The people in this world all practiced sorcery, so their bodies were very weak. Their treasures were also very crude, but their power was concentrated. The strength that they had unleashed wasn't considered weak. At the very least, Nanfeng had brought many 8- and 9-star experts, and they had more or less suffered some injuries. Even he was a little puzzled. Let's just follow them like this. Let them fight first. Let them relax. Otherwise, it will be really boring. Lin Fei knew that there were already people watching Nanfeng and the others in the dark. If there were no surprises, it should be the local people. These people quickly joined together, so it was likely that they had encountered this kind of thing many times. Chapter 5166. Nanfeng was in a pretty good mood today because he had already conquered several cities. Although these cities had some resistance, they were no match for the beasts and were directly flattened. After 3 to 5 cities, they had obtained a lot of wealth. They had obtained tens of millions of Cosmos Godstones. This kind of wealth wasn't enough. After all, every time they entered an alternate world, it was a carnival for them. The top experts on the alternate world were all God, Lord Zemu, and the 3 of them. This was also why they had to hand over 30% of the profits. Without them, they would definitely die if they encountered those experts. Therefore, they were willing to hand over the profits every time. This time, Nanfeng's mission was very simple. He had to obtain at least a few 100 million cubes. Otherwise, it would be embarrassing. Another city was conquered. Nanfeng didn't leave. He immediately rested. There were some things he had to take care of along the way, such as manpower. This was also why he had spent a lot of money to purchase human experts to be the vanguard. It was quite effective. Of course, he had also captured some local experts and made them part of the vanguard. This way, he wouldn't have to waste too much strength if he kept fighting. Fighting back and forth, it was the local powerhouses who would be expended. To him, there was no loss at all. Boom! Just as he rested, some people charged out from the shadows. Some people rushed out from the darkness. They were all local powerhouses, and all of them were mages. With a wave of their hands, magic spells were cast. Meteors, fire rain, raging python dragons, all of them came crashing down. They didn't have much of an impact on them. Nan Fong led his people and started fighting them. He even acted as the vanguard. You good-for-nothings have the nerve to fight me? You're thinking too much. Kill them all. Kill them all. Thank you for sending me the treasures. Lin Fei was able to see everything clearly from his hiding spot. These locals were quite skilled in calligraphy. However, when they encountered Nan Fong and the others, they were still a little weak. They were directly beaten down. Nan Fong and the others obtained another batch of treasures. However, Nan Fong and the others had also suffered a bit. The last mage had used a big move at the critical moment. He had directly sacrificed himself to unleash a super killer move. At the very least, it was at the level of 10 stars. Although it was barely at the level of 10 stars, it was enough to make them suffer a great loss. Many of the people around Nan were directly wiped out. Nan Fong was infuriated by such a painful price. The first thing he did was to leave with his men. If he didn't leave now, the second batch would be too much for him to handle. He didn't expect them to have such a powerful sacrificial spell. Its power was not ordinary. However, not everyone would sacrifice themselves. They would only use it at a crucial moment. This also made Nan Fong ponder whether he should consider a strategy when the time came. Otherwise, these guys would turn into rabbits and bite people if they were forced into a corner. If that was the case, it would be really inappropriate. Boom! They had just finished setting up the formation when Nan Fong and the others were attacked. The attack was so mysterious that they couldn't detect it at all. The attack that emerged from the formation caught Nan Fong off guard. Then, 2 figures walked out. Nan Fong, long time no see. I specially came to look for you. You didn't expect this, right? This is a surprise for you. Samsara walked out and smiled at Nan Fong. Lin Fei also walked out. They had been following them all the way here, but Nan Fong hadn't noticed it. Lin Fei's methods were much more brilliant than his. Unless Lin Fei thought of it himself, Nan Fong wouldn't be able to detect it at all. Nan Feng's expression turned even uglier. Samsara, you're quite bold. You brought your people to secretly deal with me. I know you've always wanted to deal with me, but you shouldn't have come at this time. How could Nan Fong not know what he was thinking? He just didn't expect Samsara to come at this time so urgently. Did they really think that they were easy to deal with just because they suffered some injuries? Ha ha ha, you're mistaken. This time I brought a helper with me. You'll know how much you'll regret offending me in a bit. There was a loud bang. Samsara pounced on them, but he didn't use his real body. If he used his real body, he would still be greatly suppressed. He would also alert the enemy. Chapter 5167. The fight between Samsara and Nan Fong was quite intense. Of course, both of them were controlling their strength. If they were to fight at full force, the formation would most likely collapse. This wasn't what Nan Fong and Samsara wanted to see. As for the remaining people, they all pounced on the young man Lin Fei. In their opinion, Lin Fei was probably one of the stronger followers Samsara had brought with him. He was also a so-called human race powerhouse. However, they had seen too many of such powerhouses. As they pounced on Lin Fei punched them directly. This punch didn't carry much force, but they felt a wave of power rush through their bodies. Then they turned into pieces one by one. They didn't resist at all, nor did they think much about it. They just gave up. Some of the human race slaves who hadn't pounced on Lin Fei felt their scalps go numb. How could there be such a powerful existence? Not to mention some powerful exotic beasts. Although they weren't as strong as Nan Fong, they were much stronger than these human race powerhouses, especially their powerful bodies. However, they couldn't help but shiver. This human race powerhouse was much more terrifying than they had imagined. When did Samsara bring so many powerful experts with him? There was no news at all. All right, if you guys don't want to die, then just stand there obediently. After all, I'm quite a peace-loving person. Lin Fei's voice was neither loud nor soft, but it echoed in their hearts. A few powerful exotic beasts were unwilling to give up and pounced on Lin Fei. A blade light flashed, and they were cut in half. There was no chance of revival at all. This wasn't a simple slash. It contained Lin phase techniques and even a trace of eternity. Naturally, it wasn't something a powerful slash could resist. No matter how strong one's body was, it was nothing in the face of eternity's power. The remaining exotic beasts instantly became well-behaved. Even humans like them had suffered a great loss, let alone them. It was better to be obedient now. Otherwise, they would really be killed by this slash. Nan Feng, who was making his move, suddenly felt his surroundings become quiet. He couldn't even see his human race slaves. Even his subordinates had quietened down. He was a little puzzled. What are you guys doing? Why aren't you attacking? There's only one person here. Are you guys afraid? Because of this distraction, Nan Feng was hit by Samsara several times and was forced to retreat. Samsara laughed. Don't shout. Of course they won't do anything. That's my lord. My lord is going to do something. Do you think you're confident? Although Samsara was a bit weaker, if they went all out, they would still be able to put some pressure on Nan Feng. However, Nan Feng's expression also changed. My lord? This was something Nan Feng hadn't expected. Since when did Samsara follow such a master? There was no news at all, and it was a human race expert. Inexplicably, Nan Feng had a bad feeling in his heart. He was going to fail this time. Nan Feng had never encountered such a thing before, but it just so happened that he encountered it here today. What the hell? Samsara, it won't be that easy for you to deal with me. At worst, I'll just scram now. When the time comes, I'll tell them and you're dead. Everyone will kill you. Nan Feng was very clear about the situation. He chose to leave immediately. He could also see why the others didn't attack him. It was because this person was too strong. He immediately took out a treasure. It was an item that could connect to the space-time door. Once it was connected, it could instantly return to the original world. This was also one of the reasons why they were so confident. However, the moment he moved, a palm landed on his body. This palm wasn't big or small, but he knew that it was definitely not Samsara's palm. Then, there was only one possibility. It was this young man's palm. How could it be so fast? A palm landed on his body, and with a boom he fell to the ground. His strength was immediately thrown into chaos. He couldn't move it at all. Samsara stepped on his body, causing him to spit out a few mouthfuls of blood. What? Still trying to struggle? You won't have the chance now. He reached out and grabbed the item. Let's see how you're going to walk without this. I already said that my lord is here. You're not going to behave in front of him. A few more stomps. At this moment, Nan Feng didn't even have the ability to struggle. Chapter 5168. Nan Feng had never thought that he would be so unlucky to meet such a powerful opponent. His opponent had even cultivated the samsara, primordial spirit. His strength had been reduced by 1 slash the moment the formation appeared. After using the power of 1 saber, his strength was very different from usual. He was on a completely different level now. He had been suppressed by his opponent. If he had known that this guy was so strong, he would not have been so careless. He would have stayed as far away as he could. Now all the experts had been killed. Even the people he had brought with him had been killed. He was the only one left in this world. Samsara had hidden his strength too deeply. Not only did he use such a method, but he had also found such a powerful human expert. Unfortunately, even his jade talisman had been taken away. He could not contact Samsara at all. It was impossible for him to leave. Samsara, you can't kill me. If you kill me, you'll be in big trouble. Don't think that you're very powerful just because you found a human expert. Before Nan Feng could finish speaking, Samsara stepped on Nan Feng's body with a loud rumbling sound. There was a loud rumbling sound as waves of energy penetrated his body. Nan Feng was already injured. He could not withstand this stomp at all. His face turned even paler. He heard Samsara's cold voice. Do you know? If you hadn't provoked me again and again, I wouldn't have dealt with you. You brought this upon yourself. Let me send you down now. After all, you've been trying to kill me for a long time. Sending you down now is the best I can do for you." Lin Fei did not stop Samsara at all. Samsara still had a lot of killing intent towards this guy. It was Nanfeng's turn to be shocked. "You can't kill me. I'm a powerful beast. If you kill me, you'll be in big trouble." There was a rumbling sound. After the Samsara's power pierced through, Nanfeng was instantly killed. She took his ring as well. This guy is too much. Did he really think that I would show mercy? It's either he or I die. It's that simple. Thank you, sir, for helping me. If it weren't for the Lord, it would have been impossible for Luan Xiang to kill Nanfeng. The other party's strength was indeed very valiant. There was still a certain gap between him and the other party. But now that he had finally killed this guy, all the unhappiness in his heart instantly disappeared. This Nanfeng isn't of much use. After all, you already have a lot of hatred for him. It's fine if you kill him, but the next one won't do. We have to capture him properly. We can't waste him. Lin Fei said. Killing Nanfeng wasn't a huge loss, but killing the other exotic beasts was out of the question. Samsara said, "Sir, don't worry. I won't kill the others. Moreover, I think we can bring this guy's weapon over. If they continue to struggle, we can show them the weapon. Even Nanfeng isn't a match for Sir, let alone them." Samsara's idea was quite good. Lin Fei didn't think too much about it. He turned his gaze and looked into the distance. His gaze fell coldly on the void. "Friend, you've been watching a good show for so long. It's time to come out." Samsara was startled. He actually did notice that someone was hiding nearby. He was shocked. The void was quiet, as though there was really no one there. Lin Fei's voice could be heard again. "If you continue to spread the news, then I won't be polite anymore. Once I make a move, it won't be easy to talk to you. You only have 3 seconds to think about it." This time, perhaps Lin Fei's words were effective. A few people really walked out of the void. When they came out, they looked at Lin Fei and Samsara in surprise. Lin Fei also recognized them after they came out. They should be the local experts of this world. Each of them held a scepter in their hands. Their strength was pretty good. He reckoned that they had been watching Nanfeng for quite some time. "You're with them, but I can sense a friendly aura from you. Who are you?" A white-haired old man said as he stared at Lin Fei. He didn't sense any hostility from Lin Fei, which was very strange. It was the same for the person beside him. "I'm not with them. I came here to capture them. I don't think this has much to do with you." Chapter 5169. These were all local powerhouses. Their appearance was indeed quite a deterrent, especially for Samsara. Samsara sensed an extremely strong aura from them and understood what was going on. These people were probably here for Nanfeng. Nanfeng had broken through a few cities, so he was naturally a great enemy of these native experts. However, he didn't seem to have any intention of making a move. This caused Samsara to be secretly shocked. As expected, his lord was still the most powerful. He was able to easily mingle with them. Samsara didn't sense any enmity from them. This was an incredible thing. The others probably couldn't believe it either. Every time they entered another world, they would be attacked by the natives. However, it was completely different now. Samsara admired his excellency even more. Everywhere he went was like going back to his own home. Without the attacks of these native experts, it really saved them a lot of trouble. On the other side, Kelshin was also quite surprised. It was rare to see such a person. They immediately sensed the arrival of extraterrestrial experts. They broke through one city after another. However, the other party was too strong, so they didn't make a move immediately. Instead, they prepared to gather people and catch them off guard. They didn't expect that they would be killed by this young man before they could make a move. This young man was really strong, especially that big formation. Each of their primordial spirits was truly incredible. They could even directly suppress a person's strength. This made them feel that it was incredible. This made them feel that if they really fought with such a person, they wouldn't have any chance of winning. It could be said that it would be a one-sided slaughter. If you're here to capture these people, then we have 100 people on our side. Why don't we sit down and have a chat? Maybe we'll have a chance to work together in the future. Naturally, Kelshin wanted to have a good chat with this young man in front of him. Lin Fei also knew that this should be the effect of the envoy of peace. It was really different. He reckoned that he didn't have any hostility. In addition, with the blessing of the envoy of peace, these people naturally didn't think that he was on their side. This was quite a good thing for Lin Fei. Lin Fei could put aside other matters, but capturing these exotic beasts was naturally a different matter. It was very important. If he could work together with these local powerhouses, it would be pretty good. If you want to chat, let's do it next time. When the time comes, we can have a chat. Now that these guys are running around, I'm afraid that they will become stronger if I let them keep attacking. So, I have to get rid of them as soon as possible. Lin Fei naturally knew what he had to do next, and that was to capture those exotic beasts. These fellows all ran very fast. In addition, these fellows were constantly devouring the local experts. Naturally, their strength had changed. Lin Fei had to act as soon as possible. When Croxian heard this, he also felt that it made sense. Thus, they left after exchanging their contact details. Sir, you're the best. You've managed to talk to them like this so quickly. There's no hostility from them at all. It looks like we can have an easy time in this world. Don't be fooled by how simple their conversation was. At the very least, today's matter would spread very quickly. If Sir catches a few more exotic beasts, things will naturally be different. Perhaps they will even notice. Lin Fei laughed. In any case, I'm not planning anything against them. I came here to capture these exotic beasts. With them, the Great Void Sect will have a certain amount of combat power. Otherwise, the Great Void Sect will be too weak. Of course, there was something else that Lin Fei didn't say. If the Great Void Sect was too weak, how would he be able to complete his mission? One had to know that this mission was quite attractive. All right, now you can take me to find them. I believe you have the corresponding treasures. You can't let us search aimlessly. Samsara immediately took out the treasures from before. It turned out that this treasure was very useful. There were many red dots that were constantly moving inside. These are the exotic beasts that we've brought over. I've placed some measures on them so that they don't know anything. This one is the closest to us. Let's go to this one first. Lin Fei knew that he couldn't delay any longer. If he allowed those fellows to run around randomly, they would most likely be killed by these experts. That would be a huge loss. Chapter 5170. There were many powerful exotic beasts that came in this time. Their goals were very simple, and that was to attack the city and conquer the land. They wanted to attack the cities and steal their resources. This way, they could exchange for more universe godstones. After all, this was related to their future realms. Whether they could improve or not was an important question. Therefore, when everyone came in, they moved in batches. For example, there were two strong beasts moving together. Their goal was very simple, which was to attack the cities quickly. This time, the two of them were quite strong. This was because both of them were late-stage 9 stars. Coupled with their strong bodies, they were almost comparable to full-circle 9 stars. This was their natural foundation, and no one could defeat them. That was why they were able to capture more than 10 cities in one go. Fortunately, there were many cities in this side of the world. Some of these cities were big and some were small. They also obtained a lot of things from them. The two of them obtained about 40 million worth of wealth. This amount of wealth was just the beginning. Although they still had to hand over 30% of it, they had only conquered a lot of cities, so they didn't suffer too much of a loss. They understood this better than anyone else. After attacking another city, they killed their way to the next one. Some natives were very annoying because they knew some techniques, and their techniques were long range. Naturally, the natives were unhappy because they couldn't get close to them in a short time. Of course, The natives couldn't do anything to them either. They treated them like flies. There was a loud bang. A huge array instantly enveloped them. They didn't know how this array appeared. They just felt that the space around them was different. Then a blade slashed down and they felt cold all over. Their strength dropped by half. Their expressions changed drastically in an instant. Not good. We are being attacked by the natives. No, this definitely isn't an attack from the natives. It seems a little familiar. Bai Wu could tell that something was different. As for the other one, he felt that something was different too. Their strength had indeed been weakened. Of course, they also knew that this should be the power of the array formation, which had restricted their strength within this place. Who is attacking us? Come out. Come out. When we start fighting, you'll be the unlucky one. Bai Wu roared furiously. A figure walked out. It was Samsara. As soon as Samsara's figure walked out, Bai Wu and the other guy's expressions changed drastically. He never expected it to be Samsara. Logically speaking, this fellow shouldn't have made a move against them. It was normal for the natives to attack them. But why would the Samsara cultivators who were at the same level as them attack them? Samsara smiled. That's right. It's me. I came here specifically to look for you. Do you see this? If you see it, you might know what it is. When Samsara took out an item, the two of them changed again. They recognized it immediately. Weren't these Nan Feng's treasures? This was his most powerful treasure. How did it fall into the hands of Samsara? Previously, I talked to Nan Feng and wanted him to follow my lord. However, he didn't listen, so my lord was very angry. That's why this scene happened. You should understand my reasoning now. Following that, another figure appeared. It was Lin Fei. With Samsara's treasures, it was really fast for him to find people. For example, he had found the two of them in an instant. Human race experts? Bai Wu and the other guy couldn't believe their eyes. This Samsara actually followed Lin Fei. Most importantly, Nan Feng had been killed. He was a pretty strong existence. At the very least, the two of them together wouldn't be a match for Nan Feng. But now that Lin Fei only had one treasure left, they started to feel uneasy. Now I can give you a choice. No, it should be two choices. Either you submit to my lord, or you get killed by my lord. You'll be able to accompany Nan Feng on the way. You only have 5 breaths of time to consider. Lin Fei wasn't in a hurry to make a move. He wanted Samsara to persuade them. This way it would be much easier. Chapter 5171. The two of them knew very well what kind of realm they were in and what kind of strength they had. After seeing this scene, they knew that they couldn't resist at all. The other party was too strong. You must be very curious. Why did your strength suddenly drop? Well, I can only say that you don't know how powerful my lord is. Just now, my lord used the legendary and invincible reincarnation Great Array. Once it was activated, it instantly destroyed your strength. When Samsara said this, the two of them immediately recalled that there really was such a powerful formation. They had heard that it was very terrifying in the past. They didn't expect that this young man in front of them had actually cultivated it. No wonder their strength had been suppressed. They had heard that in order to use this reincarnation formation, they had to cultivate Samsara primordial gods. Moreover, they needed at least 10. They really didn't dare to believe that the formation had suppressed their strength. It's easy for you to follow my lord. As long as you follow him for 1,000 years, you will naturally obtain your freedom. Perhaps you won't even want to leave after 1,000 years. You can eat and drink well if you follow my lord. Now you can consider it. Samsara started counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Neither fast nor slow. Every number was imprinted in their hearts. Bai Wu and the other two panicked. They wanted to fight, but they couldn't even defeat Samsara with their current strength because they were too weak. Not to mention that the human race powerhouse, if he really made a move, he would probably be able to kill them with a single move. They just had to follow him for 1,000 years. It didn't seem like there was anything to lose. Didn't they see that Samsara followed such a powerful lord? When Samsara counted to the last second, Bai Wu said decisively, "Wait, we are willing to work for you. It's just 1,000 years. I hope you can keep your promise." The two of them naturally didn't have any intention of fighting. Choosing to submit now was the best choice. Samsara smiled. "You will be very glad that this is the best choice you have ever made." Lin Fei also smiled and casually formed a primordial spirit seal. This was a primordial spirit seal that could only be formed by gathering all the primordial spirits. It was used to control people. After they were controlled, their lives were in the hands of Lin Fei. The two of them trembled for a moment before recovering their strength. However, they could faintly sense that if this human expert wanted to kill them, they would not be able to do so. It was a matter of a single thought. All of them had been tricked. As long as you do things honestly, your strength will only increase in the next 1,000 years. After 1,000 years have passed, you will definitely be thankful for the choice you made today. Lin Fei and Samsara turned around and left. The two of them followed along. At this time, they could only accept their fate and hope that they would be able to regain their freedom after 1,000 years. To powerful exotic beasts like them, 1,000 years was really nothing. "My lord, my idea is pretty good, right? We have to scare these guys so that we can take them down effortlessly. If they are not convinced, we can just go up and beat them up." Samsara was quite experienced. After obtaining these two exotic beasts, the number of exotic beasts in Lin Fei's possession slowly increased. Once he activated the reincarnation formation, his strength was directly restricted. Some of them were not convinced and started beating them up. He beat them until they lost their temper and left a primordial spirit imprint on them. Because of this, the number of powerful exotic beasts behind him increased. Most of the exotic beasts were in the late stage of 9 stars or around the peak of 9 stars. Of course, there were some perfect 9 stars too. They were directly pressed down by a hand in front of Lin Fei. Not a single one of them could resist him. In a short 10 days or so, Lin Fei had easily taken down 30 exotic beasts. Every single one of them was very powerful. 3 of them were perfect 9 stars. 5 of them were peak 9 stars, and the rest were late 9 stars. There were 30 of them. Lin Fei didn't even need to do anything himself. Once he activated the formation, all of them went up. The result was obvious. They couldn't beat them at all. This made them feel what was called pleasure. The formation was really a great killing machine. It was useful to everyone. Chapter 5172. He got 30 powerful exotic beasts in one go. For Lin Fei, it really saved a lot of trouble. These exotic beasts were starting to become harder to catch. The rest were relatively stronger, and they were all in groups of 3 to 5. It was quite difficult to find their things. 30 seemed like a lot, but in Lin Fei's opinion, he needed to draw at least 50. If there were 50 of them, things would naturally be different. With such a lineup, he would naturally be able to rescue all of them once he returned to the Great Void Gate. Everyone else can step aside. If it was just these few, it was still too little. No matter what, you have to get a few powerful ones. So you have to think about it. Go and get a few 9 stars, full circle cultivators first. Although there were already 3 of them, it still felt a little too little. In addition, there were only 5 peak 9-star cultivators. The most powerful ones were only these 8. As for the remaining ones, they could be said to be relatively strong. However, when they encountered the truly powerful existences, they still couldn't withstand it. "My lord, if you want to find a few powerful ones, I know a place. Perhaps they will go there. They invited me before, but I'm not interested in it." That's right. That's right. One of the beasts stood out and said. Lin Fei's interest was piqued. "Then tell me what kind of place it is." The exotic beast continued. "I heard that this place is called Black Hole Mountain. It's a very mysterious place. This time, there are 3 9 stars at the perfect perfection stage and 4 or 5 at the pinnacle stage. There are also several 9 stars at the perfect perfection stage. It can be considered a huge force. I heard that there are many good things in Black Hole Mountain. Some of them have been passed down from ancient times, but I don't know what they are exactly. However, that place is guarded by the natives, so it won't be easy to break through. Hearing this, the others also had an impression and started to talk about it. Lin Fei didn't know much about this place, but since he had said so, he could go to Black Hole Mountain to take a look. If there were so many experts, they could naturally capture all of them in one fell swoop. If he could take them all down, then this trip would be much easier. At the same time, it was somewhere else. This place was called Black Hole Mountain, and there was a huge battle taking place in Black Hole Mountain. There was a massive black hole there, which was very obvious. However, outside the black hole, there were 2 sides continuously fighting. One side was naturally an outsider, while the other side was a native. They borrowed the power of the formation and the power of their spells to block the outside world. Even so, it didn't seem like he could hold on for much longer. Without experts, it wouldn't take long for Black Hole Mountain to fall. This was a place that had been passed down from ancient times. It was their forbidden area. They absolutely could not allow these people from the outer realms to enter. Aren't you guys very powerful? However, don't even think about stopping us this time. It's already the 6th day. You can only hold on for 1 more day at most. The ones leading them were 3 powerful exotic beasts. They kept attacking. Its gigantic body shook the formation with a single move. However, the formation was still very strong. They turned into meteors and directly smashed out. It would be difficult to break this formation in a short time. If one were to look carefully, one would be able to see that the formation was already covered in cracks. The cracks were slowly expanding, but it would still take some time for them to cover the entire formation. This was why the other side said 1 day. It turned out that 6 days had passed, and 1 more day would be 7 days. They could break this formation in 7 days. Without the formation, the native experts inside were naturally not a match for them. There were many people inside the formation, but all of them looked pale. Some of them had even fallen to the ground. They had expended a lot of energy. These people's attacks are too strong. We can't hold on at all. What should we do? The others can't make it in time. I'm afraid these experts from the outer realms will continue to attack our world. We can only fight to the end. We definitely can't let them enter this place. It's a pity that no one is here to support us. The leaders of the group also looked like they were having a headache. It was really difficult to hold on because they had expended too much energy. After all, there were some powerful exotic beasts outside. The most powerful ones were their main bodies. The attacks of their main bodies were extremely ferocious. Boom! The 7th day. The formation was finally broken. Chapter 51-73. 7 days after the attack, Black Hole Mountain's array formation was finally breached. The moment it was breached, their massive bodies came crashing in. They swept through all the native powerhouses. Most of them were either killed or heavily injured in an instant. The rest of them fled in a sorry state, unable to resist the attacks of these people at all. Ha 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 ha. Do you think you can stop us with just the likes of you? It's already good enough that we didn't come looking for trouble. Yet you still dare to rely on the array formation to block us? If we don't kill all of you today, I would have come here for nothing. The crowd roared with laughter. They had finally breached the array formation. They arrived at Black Hole Mountain. It should be noted that Black Hole Mountain was a rather special place in this universe. If they could enter, they would be able to find some ancient items. It was said that this place used to be called a Forbidden Zone. There were many good items inside, but of course there were also dangers. What they were most confident in was their powerful defense. With such a powerful defense, they naturally didn't think too much of it. Boom! They attacked once again. With the 3 perfected 9 stars' battle prowess, they swept their way through. They slaughtered their way into the Black Hole Mountain. Numerous restrictive spells appeared. They were extremely powerful, but too much time had passed since then. They simply couldn't withstand their attacks. The few remaining people also reached the innermost part of the mountain. It seemed like they wanted to rely on these restrictions to restrain them, but they were too weak. They were directly smashed to the end. You still want to resist me? While I'm still in a good mood, surrender immediately. Who knows? I might even leave your corpses intact. Otherwise, you'll die without a doubt. God, Lord Futu, pushed out with his palm. 2 fire dragons came crashing down and bombarded these restrictive spells. The other 2 did the same. As for the remaining people, they dealt with the weaker natives. After a few rounds, the battle was completely one-sided. On the other side, Lin Fei had also arrived with his people. As soon as he arrived, he saw movement coming from Black Hole Mountain. He immediately knew what was going on. It was very likely that the previous batch of people had already entered Black Hole Mountain. He had asked some people on the way here and learned that Black Hole Mountain was different. Black Hole Mountain was an ancient forbidden area. It was said that there were many things inside, but no one knew how many there were. In any case, not everyone could enter this place easily. Now that someone was clearing the way, Lin Fei naturally saved himself some trouble. Once you're inside, it's very simple. Just deal with them directly. Remember, don't kill them. If you can heavily injure them, then do so. It won't be a problem if the few of you work together. Lin Fei had come all the way here to look for them. He had to bring them all back alive. He couldn't possibly kill them. Otherwise, he would have wasted his efforts. One nascent divinity after another walked out, covering Black Hole Mountain. Everyone felt their hearts tremble when they saw this. It was because the entire void had been slashed. Inside, Buddha, Lord Godlord, and some of the native experts immediately felt that something was different. Their bodies had changed, and their strength had also been affected. Buddha, Lord Godlord, felt it the most, and his entire body became extremely uncomfortable. Who can tell me what happened? Why did my strength drop so much? Could it be that another expert has arrived? Buddha, Lord Godlord, couldn't believe that his strength had been suppressed. The others were the same as well. Everyone looked at each other in confusion. Ha ha ha, long time no see, Buddha, Lord Godlord. It's actually you. How have you been? We've spent a lot of time looking for you. Samsara was their leader. He had rushed in with his men. He recognized Buddha, Lord Godlord. The latter was indeed much stronger than him, but with his strength suppressed, Samsara didn't think much of it. Buddha, Lord Godlord, was even more shocked when he saw that it was Samsara. More importantly, there were quite a few people following behind Samsara. These people were actually standing behind Samsara. Buddha, Lord Godlord, felt that something was wrong. As for the native experts inside, they felt the same. Just this group of people alone was already no match for them. Now that another group had arrived, they were even less of a match. Despair filled their hearts. Why did you come in? Do you also want to snatch my treasure from Black Hole Mountain? You've got some guts. Buddha, Lord Godlord, snorted. You guessed right. I'm here for that thing of yours. Chapter 5174. The natives inside all looked over in astonishment. They also understood what was going on outside and found it unbelievable. Why did this person take the initiative to follow Futu God's lead? They could also tell that this person really did have some enmity with sacred Lord Buddha Butcher. They even felt a peaceful aura from this person, which was quite an incredible feeling. They had never encountered such a feeling before. When they looked at this young man, they felt a little different. It was as if this person was standing on the same side as them. What do you guys think is the background of this young man? Why does it feel so unbelievable? Even I have such a feeling. No matter what, this person's arrival is a good thing for us. Otherwise, he would have broken into our Black Hole Mountain. At that time, all the treasures would have been snatched away by them. Among them, the strongest was Romank. His strength could be considered to be relatively strong, as he could burst forth with the battle prowess of a perfect 9-star. However, after encountering these monsters, he simply didn't have the ability to withstand them. These people were too depressed. At this moment, he could finally heave a sigh of relief. No matter what, they did us a great favor this time. Romank had seen many people in his life, but he had never seen someone like this before. No matter what, the appearance of this person had helped them a great deal. At the very least, they could breathe a sigh of relief for a while. In any case, we just have to keep an eye on them. If this black-robed young man really can't beat them, we can just lend him a hand. The others all had the same thought. This was a very strange thought. However, this person wasn't a threat to them. It was just that simple. This was something they could clearly distinguish. The most important thing was that they had cultivated spells, and there were many methods that could be seen in the spells. Did this person harbor any hostility towards them? Now that it seemed like he didn't harbor any hostility, they could rest assured. However, this wasn't a good thing for Buddha God Lord. Instead, it was a bad thing. Samsara had returned. There was actually another young man. This young man looked very ordinary, but his pupils instantly constricted. He knew that he had encountered an expert. This person was definitely related to Samsara. You sure talk big. Did you really think that you and Samsara would be able to capture us? You're being too naive. Even they can't stop us, let alone you lot. That's right. Although Sacred Lord Buddha knew that his strength had been suppressed, he wasn't afraid of this black-robed young man. If they were to really fight, he could destroy it in a matter of minutes. Samsara burst into laughter. God, Lord Buddha, your eyes aren't too good. Now that your strength has been severed, do you really think you can beat us? Not to mention these people around you. Huala huala. One by one, powerful beasts walked out. Just like that, they settled down. Buddha, Lord God Lord, instantly felt immense pressure. He could sense that these fellows were extremely ferocious. Most importantly, he knew every single one of them. That was the most unbelievable thing to him. If such a person stood on his side, there would naturally be no problem. But now he was actually standing on Samsara and the young man's side. What do you think? I'm right, right? I'll give you two choices now. Either surrender or we'll attack. Impossible. Do you really think that you can beat us just because your strength has been suppressed? You're dreaming too much. I'll kill you first. Voila! Buddha God, Lord Buddha, immediately charged at Samsara. He immediately unleashed his killer move. Ha ha ha! I've long since wanted to meet you. Now is the time. Samsara also rushed forward to meet them, not to mention those beasts. For a moment, the scene became exceptionally intense. Loud rumbling noises rang out. They surged out in all directions. Ramanek and the others could also feel the ferocity of this battle. If they really came at them together, none of them would be able to withstand it. They would probably be able to defeat them all in just a few exchanges. As expected of an Outerium expert, not only were their bodies powerful, but their combat strength was also exceptionally strong. The black-robed young man stood there quietly. Chapter 5175. Bang, 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 bang. One figure after another smashed down from the sky. They landed right in front of Luo Manky. All of them couldn't even get up for a long time. They were simply too ferocious. It was the result of a one-sided fight. These people were originally quite strong. At the very least, Luo Manky and the others wouldn't have been able to hold on. Otherwise, the formation wouldn't have been broken on the 7th day after holding on for 6 days. But now, all of them had been beaten down without any ability to struggle at all. In fact, he finally understood why he felt something was wrong earlier. There should be a huge formation outside. With this formation, the strength of these people was completely suppressed. As the saying went, there was no harm without comparison. This was a very clear case. If nothing unexpected happens, they're going to lose. It's really going to be a one-sided battle. We can really relax. I just don't know if this black-robed young man is easy to deal with. Luo Manky was still somewhat fearful of this person. This person was simply too strong. The young man hadn't even made a move yet. Just his subordinates alone were enough to beat God, Lord Buddha, and the others down. In the blink of an eye, there were only a few people left around God, Lord Buddha, who were barely holding on. They couldn't hold on at all. It was only a matter of time before they became companions. God, Lord Buddha, was truly unwilling to accept this. He had run into a powerful opponent. More importantly, his strength had been crippled. There was no way he could break free from this oppression. He finally understood what this formation was. Perhaps he had run into the legendary samsara formation. Only the legendary reincarnation formation could have such a powerful effect. In a single exchange, it had crippled someone's strength. He had to suppress his own strength. Naturally, he wouldn't be able to hold on against samsara. Not to mention, other than samsara, there were other exotic beasts as powerful as samsara. In this case, it would be strange if he could hold on against all of them. Even at his peak, he might not be able to hold on. Right now, he really couldn't beat them. Boom! God, Lord Buddha, was smashed into the ground. The ground around him was reduced to rubble and a deep pit. Samsara's foot landed on God, Lord Buddha's body. God, Lord Buddha, vomited a mouthful of blood. His bones cracked inch by inch, not to mention his powerful physical body. He couldn't move at all with just one foot. I don't know what you're going to say now. Before, I gave you a choice. Don't insist on suffering a little. You think too highly of yourself. In front of my Lord, no one can stand up to him. Samsara was also extremely happy. Finally, he managed to trample Futu, God Lord, under his foot. Samsara, not only did you manage to curry favor with a human, but you've even allowed so many people to follow this fella. If nothing goes wrong, all of you will be controlled by him. By the time the Lord finds out about this, all of you will be dead for sure. God, Lord Buddha, Slaughter bellowed. He immediately knew what was going on. He was definitely being controlled by this black-robed young man. Samsara laughed heartily. My Lord's methods are beyond your imagination. Even if those lords find out, it's still a question whether they can defeat my Lord. So you'd better accept your fate. Samsara laughed heartily. Zhang Xian reached out and grabbed. He captured God, Lord Buddha Butcher. God, Lord Buddha Butcher wanted to resist, but to no avail. He was tossed right in front of Lin Fei. The other monster beasts were tossed in front of him as well. The scene fell silent. Lin Fei glanced at these people indifferently. All the samsara yuan spirits were withdrawn. They appeared behind him and transformed into yuan spirit imprints. They struck the depths of their souls. Buddha City, Lord finally knew why he had lost. It turned out that he had encountered the successor of the samsara emperor. He had even grasped the samsara ray. This samsara ray was even more terrifying than they had imagined. It had directly suppressed their strength. He had no choice but to accept his fate. Especially after the imprints were placed on him, he became completely obedient. He obediently stood to the side. All his anger and everything else had vanished without a trace. Lin Fei's gaze also turned to Luo Manqi. I'm taking these fellows away. I don't think any of you have any objections, right? After all, they did something wrong in invading this world. So I came to take them away. Luo Manqi felt like he was in a dream. He had actually come for them. No problem. We still have to thank you for saving us. Chapter 5176. Romank was extremely happy that the trouble in front of him had finally been dealt with, and the impression this black-robed young man gave him was simply too good. Even fierce people like Divine Lord Fudo and the others had been beaten to the ground in a single exchange. All of a sudden, they had become the other party's people. The other party didn't have any hostility towards them at all. This was a good thing. A very good thing. For a moment, Romank felt as though a huge pie had fallen from the sky. He had actually bumped into it. As long as such a person didn't have any designs on their world, it would naturally be a piece of cake. Hence, He immediately expressed his gratitude. He also wanted to pull some strings. It was necessary to get to know such a person. I wonder if you have the time to come visit us? After all, you're guests from afar and you've helped us so much. After Romank finished speaking, the people behind him also nodded in agreement. If it weren't for this young man, they wouldn't have been able to resist at all. Not to mention guarding the treasures in Black Hole Mountain. Lin Fei smiled. If I'm free, I'll definitely pay a visit. However, I won't be going now. There are still so many demonic beasts wandering outside. Oh, right. Do you have any powerful and ferocious existences here that you can't deal with? I'll take them all in and bring peace back to this world. Don't you think so? Lin Fei smiled. Samsara, who had been standing to the side, couldn't help but admire his lord. Not only did he want to capture these monster beasts, but he also wanted to capture some fierce existences from another world. This way, he would become even stronger. Luo Manky was elated. This black-robed young man was truly a good person. Not only did he help them deal with these monster beasts, but he also wanted to deal with some powerful local existences. This was simply a benefit. The first thing he did was to nod his head. Yes, there's still some powerful existences in our world. I reckon that these powerful existences have already joined forces with the monster beasts that came in like you. The first thing he did was to ask. Samsara and the others stood to the side, not saying a word. They just waited quietly. These local powerhouses were quite capable. Their contact information was also quite special. They reckoned that they really did know something. Sir, I've already understood a little. The people from the outside have indeed joined forces with our people and are preparing to attack the largest secret realm on our side. Romank took a deep breath and said, This place is called the Broken Lands. I heard that in the past, immortals once appeared here. I don't know if it's true or not. I also heard that there are fragments left behind by immortals. Therefore, this place has always been a popular place for us strong people. However, it's too dangerous. Immortals. These two words instantly caught Lin Fei's attention. Other words wouldn't have made him feel anything. But the word immortal was different, and these fragments were left behind. At the first moment, Lin Fei recalled the fairy he had met before. The other party was not simply that fairy. It was highly likely that she was a powerful existence. It was only because of some coincidences that he came down here. Unfortunately, Lin Fei did not obtain any concrete clues. For example, news of going to the immortal world. It was as if it did not exist. He didn't expect to hear such news in this other world. What was he waiting for? Hurry up and go. So they all went to the Broken Lands. That's great. Why don't you lead the way and let them know that I have no enmity with them? I'm here to capture them. It's just that simple. Romank smiled, Sir, don't worry. I've already told them about it. Logically speaking, the news should spread very quickly. Everyone should feel your goodwill. I'm very familiar with the Broken Lands. I'll bring you there. Just as he was leaving, Black Hole Mountain's array formation was restored to its original state. After it was restored, it would be fine as long as there were people guarding it. No one from the outside would be able to break through. The stronger ones were all taken down by Lin Fei, not to mention the others who had gone to the Broken Lands. Just like that, Lin Fei, Romank, and the rest headed straight for the Broken Lands. There were tens of beasts behind him. The original 30 instantly increased to 45, close to 50. This was definitely the strongest lineup. Even Romank couldn't help but inwardly suck in a breath of cold air. Such a person really couldn't be an enemy. Chapter 5177. This information was good news for Lin Fei. He also wanted to know what kind of things were in the Broken Lands. Just by looking at Luo Manky's words, he knew. It was obvious that the Broken Land was a very important place. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said that it was the most special and unbelievable place in this world. Even the 3 great experts were running in this direction. Moreover, they had allied with some experts here. This lineup was definitely not small. Looking at his current lineup, Lin Fei had nothing to worry about. At that time, once the Grand Formation was activated, they would be beaten until they were captured. Once they came over, Lin Fei also encountered some beasts. However, these beasts didn't have the ability to fight back. They were all captured. Their numbers also began to increase gradually. Along the way, Ramanek was even more certain of one thing, and that was that this black-robed young man was really after these demonic beasts. At the same time, he was even more grateful that he could meet such a senior. Perhaps this time, he might be able to capture all the ferocious existences in this world. When that time comes, the entire world would be quiet. Don't think that these spellcasting experts are invincible. Even those ferocious existences, these so-called great demons, weren't easy to deal with. They were strong, and they were good at working together. If one wanted to deal with them, they wouldn't be able to defeat them unless they were 2 or 3 times stronger than them. It wasn't easy to pull out so much power. Therefore, they failed at the last step every time. On the contrary, they became more and more united. They knew that as long as they were united, they would be able to resist them. This time, with this black-robed young man, things might be different. It took them about 10 days to get there. Finally, they arrived near the Broken Land. A wave of desolate aura swept over. It swept through everyone and Samsara. In an instant, they felt that their emotions were affected and their expressions changed. The aura was as heavy as a mountain. It directly crushed their souls. If their souls were weak, they would have collapsed. This was definitely left behind by an expert. Lin Fei also felt it immediately. Roman added, "In front of us is the Broken Lands. We are currently at the outermost region. Just the aura alone is unbearable for most people. However, it is still pretty good for cultivation. If one is able to withstand the pressure of the wilderness, one's spirit will become stronger." Lin Fei agreed with the sentence. Because the aura of desolation was very thick, it was definitely left behind by a treasure. At first, he thought that it was an expert, but the deeper he went, the more he felt that it was not. This should be the fragment of a treasure. However, this treasure should have a great origin. Ask if this aura is left behind by a powerful treasure, or perhaps it's a fragment. This aura feels a little different. Fellow Taoist, you're really knowledgeable. This is indeed a fragment left behind. However, it's very heavy. Experts like us can't even lift it up. I heard that it was a super powerful treasure. It was destroyed during the fight. Speaking of this, Roman Ku's face was filled with emotions. It's also the most powerful treasure I've encountered so far. At that time, I heard that there were many immortals fighting against our experts. However, all of our experts were heavily injured. However, they didn't seem to have a good ending. That's how the Broken Lands came to be. It turns out that this place is an otherworldly paradise. It's the #1 sect in our world. Lin Fei was very sure of one thing. This Broken Lands definitely had traces left behind by immortals. Within this aura, he could smell a trace of eternal aura. Eternal aura was naturally above the 9 stars level. Moreover, the experts in this cosmos should have reached the eternal realm. The strength of the immortals shouldn't be very high. The combat power that they displayed should also be at the eternal realm. However, it was different since they had immortal artifacts. Therefore, it directly turned into an intense battle. However, it was quite surprising that the fragment was left here. After entering, everything was in ruins. The space was also dilapidated. It was really a Broken Lands. However, in this Broken Lands, Lin Fei felt a different aura. Everywhere was filled with an eternal aura formed by brilliant lights. The brilliant lights that can be seen in some places are actually the eternal intent left behind by the eternal realm experts. Therefore, don't touch them if you have nothing to do. Some of them have already lost their power, but some of them can erupt with eternal might. Roman said solemnly. Chapter 5178. Actually, even without saying it, Lin Fei could feel it. There were indeed traces of eternal intent here. They pierced through the entire broken land. They intertwined. If one was careless, they would be forced back by these eternal intents. Romank's death was the most normal thing to happen. Fortunately, Romank was here. He definitely had a complete map. As a matter of fact, Romank did have a complete map, and he took it out immediately. These people should have run to the innermost area. This is a route, you guys can follow it. The map quickly reached Lin Fei's hands. At a glance, it was indeed a complete route. The other places were unexplored. Romank continued, "This is the only route here. It was created by the lives of our ancestors. As for the others, they can't." This was also because this black-robed young man had peaceful intentions towards them. That was why Romank took it out. If it was someone else, Romank wouldn't have taken it out, even if he was beaten to death. Lin Fei led the way. The group headed straight towards this route. The deeper they went, the more they felt fear in their hearts. Especially Samsara and the others, they all felt that they were exceptionally strong. Only now did they realize that they were exceptionally weak. Fortunately, their lord was capable. Otherwise, if people like them were to enter this place, they would have a 90% chance of dying. But now they could easily walk all the way inside. With a whoosh, an invisible wave swept across their bodies. In front of them, a huge figure appeared in the ruins. This figure was indomitable, but it was this indomitable appearance that made them feel invincible. Romank trembled. This is the most commonly seen eternal image in these ruins. These eternal images were left behind by those who fought back then. This should be left behind by an immortal. Lin Fei felt it the fastest. It was indeed an eternal realm expert. The other party was an immortal. He had the aura of an immortal. In the past, he had obtained an item from an immortal. Naturally, he knew that this aura was extremely pure. In other words, this person was an immortal. He didn't expect the immortals to come to this world. Was there something in this world that the immortals cared about? Lin Fei's first thought was to come up with a plan. If it was something else, it probably wouldn't have been able to attract such an immortal to this world. They're here. From the looks of it, there were more than one or two of them. In the end, they encountered strong resistance from the local powerhouses. That was how the Broken Lands came to be. But now, the 3 experts from their side had actually come here and joined forces with the ferocious existences here. In that case, there should be some good stuff in the Broken Lands. Lin Fei was getting more and more excited. Hopefully, this trip wasn't in vain. Originally, Lin Fei was already very happy to have obtained so many powerful demonic beasts. Now that there was another happy event, Lin Fei didn't think too much about it and directly signed in. Ding! Sign in successful in the Land of Ruins. Received 1 human immortal bloodline. Lin Fei's heart skipped a beat. Oh my god! He actually obtained an immortal bloodline. Although he didn't know how high the level of this bloodline was, it was still an immortal bloodline. As long as he used it himself. Wouldn't it mean that he could immediately obtain an eternal divine body? Lin Fei wasn't far from the eternal realm. In addition, there were so many reincarnated primordial spirits, a total of 99. Naturally, it wasn't something that ordinary people could compare with. Hence, he directly used this immortal bloodline without any hesitation. A vast and boundless power instantly exploded in Lin Fei's body, sweeping through his entire body. But in the blink of an eye, it was suppressed by Lin Fei's 99 primordial spirits. As expected of an immortal bloodline, it's fierce and domineering enough. It actually caused such a huge commotion in an instant. I almost burst this body open. Fortunately, my 99 primordial spirits aren't to be trifled with. Lin Fei rejoiced even more. This thing wasn't something that just anyone could cultivate. At the very least, even if one reached the 10-star level, they would need a helper to refine this thing. Otherwise, they would directly die. Divine Lord Samsara Buddha, Ramank, and the others instantly felt that this lord had become different. He was even more dangerous. especially divine Lord Samsara Buddha. He felt that as long as the other party attacked, he could kill him with a single punch. It was too terrifying, as expected of a lord. He was indeed different. His strength had increased again. Chapter 5179. The Broken Land was indeed quite dangerous. From time to time, some eternal figures would appear. These eternal figures were quite strong. They just stood there and could see through you with a single glance. All secrets were no longer secrets. Fortunately, these figures didn't really attack. Unless you accidentally touched them, you basically wouldn't be in any danger. However, most people really couldn't handle the eternal aura. Lin Fei was different now. He had just refined the celestial bloodline, and his strength had increased by leaps and bounds, especially his physical body, which directly reached the true eternal level. Now, even if Lin Fei didn't use the reincarnation original god, his punches would be able to explode with eternal level combat power. With such a huge improvement, one could imagine how strong this celestial bloodline was. Unfortunately, there was only one such bloodline. Otherwise, if these reincarnated primordial spirits cultivated a strong physical body, they would really be invincible. Lin Fei had an idea. No matter what, he had to get some strong bloodlines for his reincarnated primordial spirit to cultivate. The Broken Land should be a good place. They walked in. The number of eternal figures increased as well. Some of them were fragmented, while others were complete. There were even some that belonged to native experts. Roman also explained to Lin Fei one by one so that Lin Fei would have a better understanding of these things. There was a loud rumbling sound. It came from the front. When they heard this sound, both Lin Fei and Romank came to their senses. The final place was in front. After reaching this region, it wasn't as easy as before. From time to time, they would bump into some tricks. These tricks were illusory, and if they weren't careful, they would bump into them. You guys walk slowly behind me. I will go take a look first. Lin Fei's figure moved forward. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared. Romank really couldn't keep up. He chased for a while, but was shaken off in an instant. He had to admit that this black-robed young man was much stronger than he had imagined. There were some problems along the way, but they were all easily broken. He walked all the way to the end. There was a huge palace inside. The palace was also a little shabby, but the shockwaves from the battle here were the strongest and most intense. Without a doubt, this was where they had fought. Just as he rushed to the entrance of the palace, a formation appeared. 2 fire dragons spun left and right, and a huge bell came down. Good heavens, he actually set up a trap here. If I'm not careful, I'll really suffer a great loss. The fire dragon slammed into Lin Fei's body. However, it couldn't do anything to Lin Fei. Lin Fei sent out a palm strike. The huge bell flew back to where it came from. Then a buzzing sound could be heard as the space in the area collapsed. Some of the eternal techniques were shaken. A dazzling light burst forth. Lin Fei rushed into the palace in an instant. At this moment, the palace was extremely lively. 2 groups of people were fighting. One of them was God, Lord Swampwood. Lin Fei knew God, Lord Zhe-Mu the best. He didn't really know the other 2, but there were a few other fierce existences besides them. All of them were 10-star existences. No wonder they dared to set their sights on this place. Aside from God, Lord Zhe-Mu's group, the other group was made up of local experts. They were quite strong, and they had a formidable lineup of Tensum people. The Tensum people didn't seem to be in a good situation. Even farther away, Lin Fei sensed a powerful immortal aura. Not far away, there was a corpse that had already passed away, and behind it was a large fragment. This fragment seemed to be a door. Lin Fei immediately had an impression of what it was. Could this be the legendary gate of Immortality Fragment? No wonder he sensed a powerful aura on his way in. If his guess was right, it should be the aura of the Gate of Immortality Fragment. If he could gather enough Gate of Immortality Fragments, Wouldn't he be able to enter another great world? But the gate of immortality didn't seem that easy to deal with. As soon as Lin Fei entered, the gazes of the two groups fell on him. An ice god dragon swept over and instantly enveloped Lin Fei. It turned out that the local experts had taken action. Chapter 5180. Such a person had appeared. The natives on their side naturally had their own thoughts. Thus, they immediately attacked. An ice god dragon came and coiled around Lin Fei's body. With this coiling, Lin Fei was instantly sealed in ice. This move was quite powerful. Not just anyone could withstand it. Even the native experts didn't care. He was just a human brat, so they didn't think much of him. But in the blink of an eye, the ice shards on his body shattered. The young man walked out and smiled at everyone. He smiled at everyone and said, "I don't think I'm interrupting everyone's battle." The native expert who attacked just now was slightly taken aback. His methods were very strong, especially his ice method, which directly seeped into one's body. It was not something that anyone could withstand, let alone a human brat. But this human brat was able to withstand it so quickly. This was indeed out of their expectations. But in the blink of an eye, his expression changed a little. He felt that this young man didn't have any aura directed at them. Even the native experts behind them could feel it. It was as if this person was born to be on their side. This was an extremely absurd feeling. Everyone looked at each other. They all felt the same. Strange. Why doesn't this person have any hostility toward us? Moreover, I seem to have a pretty good impression of him. You feel the same way. Actually, I feel the same way. This young man is really different. Could he be on our side? That's possible. In any case, this guy should have some strength. If he can even block the ice god dragon, he shouldn't be too weak. At the start, they really did believe that Lin Fei had come to help them. They immediately attacked. But it seemed that this wasn't the case at all. On the other hand, God Lord Zemu was surprised. He realized that a human brat had come here. This was different. At the start, he thought that this person was a slave, but at a glance he felt that something was wrong. Behind him, one figure after another walked out. After these figures walked out, God Lord Zemu and the other two powerful lords all grimaced. He recognized it the first time. For example, God Lord Futu. There were other divine masters as well. Weren't they all on their side? But why were they all standing behind this kid? For a moment, they felt that something was amiss. Who are you? Why are they all behind you? Hurry up and tell me, or I'll cripple you first. The most irritable was probably God Lord Wind Dragon. This was a tall and sturdy fellow. His entire body was covered in a layer of scales, making him look very different. He was the one with the strongest defense among the three of them. At this moment, he glared at them fiercely. The other snorted coldly. "And you guys, you're all standing behind this youngster. Hurry up and get over here. You guys came just in time to help us restrain these guys. When the time comes to attack, we'll split the benefits together." They had indeed felt the pressure along the way. The resistance of the natives was quite strong. Moreover, this was the Broken Lands. Therefore, it was natural for them to feel different when they saw this batch of people. They hoped that they could restrain them. This way, they would have a chance to deal with the stronger existences. But their words were of no use. These people stood behind Lin Fei and didn't move at all. They just calmly stood there. It was as if they hadn't heard anything. This made the three of them feel their hearts skip a beat. They couldn't just say that this black-robed youngster had taken down all these people, or perhaps he had used some sort of method to control them. If that was the case, this matter was going to be rather troublesome. Could it be that the original battle between two tigers was going to turn into a battle between three countries? This was definitely the last thing they wanted to see. "Stop shouting. These people are already standing behind me. I came this time to see just what's different about the Broken Lands. It seems like it's really quite interesting." Lin Fei smiled. "Of course, You can also treat me as a passerby. I'm just here to watch the show. I really have no interest in what you're fighting over. Chapter 50-181. So he came in to take a look. However, this made God, Lord Swampwood, and the others very irritable. How was this just passing by? This was just charging in, all right? They had spent so much effort to get to the Broken Lands, but now they were being held back by these native experts. In the end, this guy just came in and said that he was just passing by. Passing by shouldn't be called passing by. Did he really think that they were 3-year-old kids? On the other hand, the native powerhouses were a little surprised. They felt that this guy was really just passing by. He didn't seem to be very interested in the treasures of the Broken Lands. He was only here for the 3 of them and the people behind them. They were very sure of this. It was also very real. This young man had definitely come for them. Thus, they inexplicably heaved a sigh of relief. The leader of this group was a native expert of the god Master Lak's realm, and he was extremely strong. He was extremely powerful and could display the battle prowess of a 10-star expert. He smiled at the black-robed youngster. We welcome anyone here. As long as they are peaceful people, we will welcome them. However, we don't like them. I hope that when we have time, we can sit down and have a cup of tea to chat and exchange our cultivation experiences. This god, Lord Rakesh's, words were filled with kindness. This caused the expressions of God, Lord Zemu, and the others to turn ugly. Was he trying to rope them in? The native experts were already hard enough to deal with, but now there was this black-robed youngster and these people behind them. Immediately, they felt a great deal of pressure. What should we do? This kid is clearly here for the treasures. Why don't we make the first move and take them down first? Taking them down isn't difficult. We just need to attack that youngster. This guy definitely isn't that strong. The 3 of us should be able to take him down. After taking him down, we can interrogate him and find out what's going on. Why are these people following them? Maybe he has some other tricks up his sleeves. The 3 of them were experienced and knowledgeable people. They immediately understood that the people behind them were definitely being controlled. If the method of control was extremely powerful, they wouldn't be in such a sorry state right now. Therefore, their conviction became incomparably firm. I'm guessing that the 3 of you must be preparing to deal with me in secret. Truth be told, I'm indeed here for you. Treasures are secondary. I just want to ask you one thing. Do you want to pledge your allegiance to me? If you pledge your allegiance to me, you'll suffer less. Otherwise, you'll suffer greatly later. After signing in here to obtain the immortal bloodline, Lin Fei's body had already reached the eternal realm. The combat power that erupted from them was naturally incomparably terrifying. These 3 monstrous beasts were indeed very powerful. They were much stronger than Samsara and the others. Such people were indeed the most suitable to be the vanguard of the main force. Naturally, he did not want to waste them like this. Naturally, he had to take them down. Taking them down also depended on whether they would do it themselves or allow themselves to be captured. Lin Fei had given the 2 of them the right choice. The 3 of them had goosebumps in their hearts. They knew that this black-robed young man didn't have any good intentions. He actually came for them. Could he be the young master of some big family? Did he really need these monstrous beasts to act as the vanguard? After all, they had seen too many things, so they immediately made the connection. Their hearts instantly turned cold. Soon they calmed down. After all, the 3 of them were extremely strong. They weren't afraid of this guy in front of them. Did he really think that he could capture them with so many people? He was definitely underestimating them. If everyone had the same thoughts as this black-robed young man, they would have been captured long ago. They wouldn't be able to roam freely like they were now. On the other hand, Divine Lord Rakesh also heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that this black-robed young man was really here for the 3 of them. As long as these 3 people were gone, they could be considered to have completely solved their problem this time. Who would have thought that these 3 powerful existences would have some powerful treasures that could actually suppress them. They wouldn't be able to gain the upper hand at all. In the end, it would only become a tug of war. You're thinking too much. If you want the three of us to pledge our allegiance to you, then show us your strength first. At this moment, the three of them directly made their move. The three treasures attacked. The three treasures were actually a set. One could freeze space, one could freeze time, and the last one could unleash a super strong attack for an instant. Everything was done in one go. Chapter 5182. The three of them were quite smart. They knew that if they didn't take down this mysterious, black-robed young man, they would have to suffer. If that happened, they would have to suffer. It was quite normal for them to think this way. Therefore, they didn't make a move. Instead, they took out their trump card. No one knew that the three of them had a set of treasures. This set of treasures could be used by the three of them at the same time. Once it was used, it could erupt with superpower. Divine Lord Samsara Buddha and the others had never seen it before. However, they had vaguely heard of it. No one had ever been able to fight against the three of them. They had always been in their control. They had always felt that it was quite strange, because back then, there was one who was the strongest. Back then, there was one person who was stronger than the three of them and tried to unite them. In the end, that person was killed when he tried to fight against the three of them. As for how he was killed, no one knew. In any case, that person never returned. This caused a huge sensation in their circle. No one had expected that such a powerful person would be killed. The three of them were quite different from each other. Moreover, they were facing such a powerful existence. However, these three people who didn't seem to be united actually managed to kill that powerhouse. As a result, everyone was filled with all kinds of doubts and speculations. They never got a proper explanation for this. Today, they finally realized that the three of them had a set of treasures. One could freeze time, one could freeze space, and one could unleash a huge attack. In this way, even a top powerhouse might not be able to withstand it. After all, it was a 10-star treasure. The power it could erupt with was estimated to be half a step into the eternal realm. It was truly a fierce mess. Divine Lord Rakesh and the others also heaved a sigh of relief. They had indeed been guarding against them before, but they had never imagined that these three fellows would have such a trick up their sleeves. Once this trick was unleashed, not just anyone would be able to withstand it. This move could seriously injure them or even kill them. Do you think the three of us are so easy to deal with? The three of us have always been one. It's just that no one knows it. Since you want to provoke us today, we'll fulfill your wish. After taking you down, the people behind you will naturally fall into our control. We have to thank you for sending us such a gift. You should be proud of the fact that the three of us are working together. No one has ever been able to stop the three of us. This was the most powerful technique the three of them had. It was also a set of treasures they obtained when they broke into a mystic realm. This set of treasures was infinitely close to the eternal grade. This set of treasures had to be used by three people in order to display the power of a half-step eternal realm expert. And this power was very strong. It could kill a 10-star expert. Back when that 10-star expert had come to look for them, he had never thought that they would have such a set of treasures. With the combined power of these three treasures, they were able to directly kill this expert, allowing them to secure their positions even more firmly. However, they rarely used this set of treasures because it consumed too much energy. Although they were strong, they had never truly been able to fully utilize it. They wouldn't use it unless it was necessary. They had originally planned to use it to deal with the native god Master Rakesh, but now they were using it ahead of time. They would deal with this young, black-robed man first. In their imagination, this young, black-robed man should be quite powerful. They absolutely could not let such a person attack them. Once they did, they would be the unlucky ones. Therefore, the saying that the first to strike gains the upper hand and the last to strike suffers was quite accurate. They saw the young man smile. The smile was very relaxed. Then their powerful attacks landed on the young man's body, causing a loud, rumbling sound. Not everyone could withstand it because they couldn't use any treasures or techniques at all. They could only choose to take it head-on. As a result, they were most likely killed in one move. However, after this move hit the young man's body, there was no sign of it shattering. On the contrary, the young man was still looking at them with the same smile as before. There was no change in space or time, and the young man was the same. There was no change. The attack power is really not bad. It is definitely the strongest killer move. It is more than enough to kill off a 10-star powerhouse. However, it is still not enough to deal with me. I have to thank you for giving me this set of treasures, Jiangqin said with a smile. Chapter 50-183. Lin Fei was really surprised and pleasantly surprised. These three guys really knew how to give people a big surprise. They actually had such a set of treasures. This set of treasures was really different. At the very least, its power was really strong. It could erupt with the battle prowess of a half-step Eternal Realm expert. This kind of battle prowess could really deal with anyone. It was no wonder that the three of them could rule so many demon beasts. At first glance, Lin Fei didn't think that they were that strong. In the past, he would have been able to deal with such a guy, but now he knew that they had a trump card in their hands. Each of them had a treasure, and the three treasures combined into a set of treasures. Moreover, it was a half-step Eternal Realm treasure. The power it exerted was really powerful and invincible. If it weren't for his body directly reaching the Eternal Realm, he would have suffered serious injuries just now. And this was under the situation where his body was relatively strong. If it were anyone else here, they would have died without a doubt. This was their strongest killer move. This powerful killer move was useless against Lin Fei. Instead, he found a good thing. If this thing fell into his hands, it would be equivalent to having a powerful attack. He might not have many things, but he had a lot of essence spirits. His essence spirits still lacked some treasures. If he had these three treasures in his hands, the three samsara primordial gods would be able to erupt with the power of a half-step Eternal Realm expert. In the future, even if he didn't use it, he could still give it to others. Such a treasure was indeed quite good. Lin Fei could guess that this treasure had probably been used by an essence soul powerhouse in the past. Only an essence soul expert could exert it. After all, the three of them were not as one. So, even if they could exert it, its power would be much weaker than that of an ordinary essence soul expert. It's okay. This is impossible. You're not an eternal expert. God Lord Zemu exclaimed. The other two were the same. They immediately realized that something was wrong. So the three of them controlled the treasures again. He immediately unleashed his strongest attack, and a beam of light swept over. The stream of light directly penetrated the void, time, and space. The three of them forcibly launched another move. At this time, no one knew better than them. If they did not severely injure this black-robed young man, the three of them would be the ones to suffer. Unfortunately, this move consumed about 2/3 of their strength, but they still could not penetrate the opponent's body. The opponent's body was like a thick mountain, and they could not penetrate it at all. It was directly blocked. They also realized that this guy's fleshly body had most likely reached the legendary Eternal Realm. Otherwise, even the physical body of a 10-star powerhouse would not be able to withstand their attacks. For a moment, the three of them panicked. They actually encountered an eternal level existence. The other party didn't seem to have erupted with an eternal level aura, but such a person could definitely display eternal level combat power. Such a person wasn't someone they could defeat at all. Your strongest moves are useless against me. Now it's my turn. Just like that, a hand stretched out. As soon as this hand stretched out, it transformed into a world of its own. The three of them seemed to have fallen into this world. No matter how hard they struggled, it was useless. Following that, the palm became smaller and smaller. They had fallen into his hands. When the 5 fingers closed, it was like a prison of heaven and earth. It trapped them so tightly that they didn't even have the strength to struggle. You guys only have this little strength, and you still have the nerve to fight with me? I already asked you to make a choice in the beginning. Unfortunately, you didn't listen. You deserve to suffer a little. They clapped their palms together, and with a loud rumbling sound, cracks appeared on their powerful bodies. Their vitality declined, and they were seriously injured on the spot. Even the three treasures came out and sat in front of Lin Fei. They could feel this powerful force. It was definitely an eternal level power. It was truly terrifying. They hurriedly begged for mercy. Senior, please spare our lives. We didn't know it just now. Please spare our lives. We are willing to surrender. Even if Lin Fei gently clasped his hands together, he could make them experience the meaning of despair, fear, and apprehension. Chapter 5184. God, Lord Luxure, and the others watched as the three experts who had attacked them fell into the other party's hands. They were given a huge fright. They also realized that the black-robed youth in front of them was a legendary eternal expert. Even if he hadn't reached this level, he could still use the corresponding techniques. Such a person was already above their heads. Fortunately, this person didn't seem interested in them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to hold on. God, Lord Luxure, breathed a sigh of relief. As for the native expert who had attacked just now, he broke out in a cold sweat. He had thought that this fellow wasn't very strong, so he had thrown an ice dragon at him. It turned out that the other party was even stronger. No wonder his ice dragon had been useless. The other party's physical body was definitely extremely powerful. Even the techniques used by the three experts couldn't break through the other party's defenses. From this, it could be seen that the other party was extremely powerful. Lin Fei had truly experienced the strength of an eternal god body. He had captured 3 people in one move. They weren't even on the same level at all. In other words, if Lin Fei wanted to kill them, he could kill them 100 times over with a single thought. This was the difference in strength. Crash! Crash! The 3 fell to the ground, their hearts filled with even more bitterness. They hadn't expected to encounter such a powerful existence one day. Of course, they were even more glad that they had survived. With a wave of his hand, 3 seals landed on their foreheads. Just like that, they were in control. God, Lord Samsara, and the others had their horizons broadened. They knew that their lord was very powerful, but only now did they realize that he could erupt with the power of an eternal expert. This was definitely a golden thigh that they had to hug tightly. Fortunately, God, Lord Zemu, and the others were the last to arrive. In terms of status, they were definitely inferior to them. Although they were strong, after being taught a lesson by their lord, they were still behind them. For a moment, they felt quite pleased with themselves. So what if they were strong? Weren't they just obediently being held in the hands of their lord? They might as well learn from them and obediently choose to submit. How good would that be? They could even leave a good impression. Obediently stand at the back and don't make a sound. God, Lord Swamp, and the other 2 naturally didn't dare to say anything and obediently stood at the back. He also knew that he had made the wrong choice previously. If he had known that this fellow was so strong, he would have obediently chosen to submit to him, an eternal expert. Once he said that, how could they not be obedient? Now he had suffered greatly and his freedom had been snatched away. If he had known that this would happen, he would have rather given such a treasure to leave a good impression. Lin Fei looked at the native experts in front of him. These people invaded this universe, and I've basically taken them all down. Just call the rest back, and peace will be restored in your world. I think you guys should have no objections, right? Lin Fei smiled. God, Lord Rakesh, shook his head repeatedly. How could they have any objections? In any case, you are an eternal powerhouse. Their universe really didn't have an eternal powerhouse. Although there were many 10-star powerhouses, it wasn't too difficult for them to reach this stage. This was the foundation of a world. A world with a strong foundation could naturally be born, while a world with a weak foundation could not be born. If not for the war between the immortals back then, their world would still be very powerful and wouldn't have cared about these outer realm invaders. Fortunately, they managed to solve the problem perfectly this time, which was a pleasant surprise. No objections, no objections. We still have to thank you for helping us. At the very least, you ended the chaos in our world. God, Lord Lakeshire respectfully said. A loud, rumbling sound suddenly came from afar. The commotion was so loud that everyone could hear it clearly. God, Lord Rakesh, was the one who felt it the most. He felt that an outer realm powerhouse had once again entered this world, and they had even come to the outside of the broken land. Could it be Senior's people? Logically speaking, it shouldn't be possible. Lin Fei also sensed it. There were indeed several figures rapidly moving in this direction. They were extremely fast, as if they had a map and they were taking a shortcut. It wasn't the winding path he had taken before. Chapter 5185. Someone else had come. He originally thought that it was quite normal for someone from the outer realm to come. He didn't expect that someone else would come down at this time, and an extremely strong one at that. Although God, Lord Zemu, and the others were very strong, they were still quite a bit lacking compared to this person. God, Lord Rakesh, sensed this as well. He had just heaved a sigh of relief, but now he sensed another powerful aura. Even though it wasn't close yet, it made their hearts tremble. It seemed that this person was much stronger than they had imagined. Senior, is this person also one of your people? It seems that he's also quite strong. He's been able to overcome many obstacles on his way here, and he's walking a different path. His first impression was the strongest. After all, not just anyone could barge into this place. Since a senior had come here, there would probably be others like the senior who had come here. Naturally, he would treat them as if they were on the same side. Lin Fei chuckled. Then you're overthinking things. This person is definitely not my friend. He's definitely here for the thing inside. If I'm not wrong, he's here for that thing. Lin Fei looked at the giant fragment not far away. Besides this thing, Lin Fei didn't think that there was anything else that would catch the eye of anyone else. This person was definitely not someone from this world, but an expert from the outer realm. The commotion just now was extremely huge. Lin Fei could already sense it. God, Lord Rakesh's expression instantly changed. This situation was completely different from what he had imagined. This thing is useless. It's a fragment, and it's extremely heavy. I heard that only those who have reached the eternal realm can carry it, or rather, they need a certain treasure to do so. God, Lord Rakesh more or less knew the origin of this fragment. Back then, countless people had tried to take this fragment back, but none of them had been able to do so. Thus, after a long time, no one had any interest in it. But now, God, Lord Rakesh, didn't dare to believe that someone had set their eyes on it. Whoosh! A few figures dashed in. These few figures rushed in. Their bodies were shining with divine light, and they were dazzling with starlight. Behind them, an illusory figure appeared. This was definitely a huge commotion, and God, Lord Rakesh, and the others immediately felt pressured. This was definitely someone from the upper echelons. Looks like I'm not too late. There's no point in you guys fighting each other. I've taken a liking to this thing. I don't think any of you have any objections, right? If anyone has any objections, feel free to come out and tell me. I'm quite an easygoing person. This was a white-haired young man. He was just standing there casually, and his whole body was shining with starlight, exuding an incomparably powerful aura. His gaze swept across the crowd and landed on the large shard of the door. He didn't take the people present seriously. This was definitely an expert. God, Lord Rakesh could sense it as well. This person didn't seem to be as strong as the senior in front of him, because the senior just stood there. This time, he was no different from an ordinary person. On the other hand, God, Lord Swampwood, and the others were trembling in fear. They were already injured just now. Now that they were facing such a young man, It made them realize what it meant to waste all their cultivation. This thing has always been here. Not just anyone can take it. God, Lord Rakesh, naturally wouldn't offend such a person. So he had to remind him no matter what. As soon as he finished speaking, a large palm appeared and pressed against his body. God, Lord Rakesh, couldn't withstand it at all and was directly sent flying. The person behind him immediately caught him. However, as soon as he was caught, another wave of force burst forth, following which the people behind him were also sent flying. The white-haired young man said indifferently, "I can naturally take away something that I've taken a liking to. There's no need for you to speak so much nonsense. It seems like you have a problem with me. Domineering, incomparably domineering. With just a single move, God, Lord Rakesh, and the others were all injured." Lin Fei's eyes narrowed slightly. This fellow was quite capable. His earlier attack contained a trace of the Eternal Realm's aura. Indeed, he was someone from the outside world. And he even had his eyes on this thing. If Lin Fei's guess was correct, this guy should know the origin of this thing, and it was very likely that he knew how to use it. It seems like no one has any objections. That thing belongs to me now. A large hand reached out. The starlight in the sky gathered together and grabbed onto the stargate. Chapter 5186. This white-haired young man did not take them seriously at all. His attack just now had shocked everyone. No one dared to speak rashly anymore. God Master Lakeshore was already injured. The people on their side all followed God Master Lakeshi's lead. Since he was injured now, they naturally wouldn't say anything. Moreover, most of them were injured as well. Lin Fei's side was even simpler. If Lin Fei didn't speak, they wouldn't speak either. They were all well-behaved now. Their lord was so strong, let alone this white-haired young man. Of course, no matter how strong this white-haired young man was, he wasn't as strong as their lord. They were very knowledgeable. The white-haired young man waved his hand and grabbed the shard door. This grab felt extremely heavy, and he actually couldn't lift it up right away. However, the starlight on his body continued to explode, and he slowly lifted it up. It floated in the air. He was extremely strong. Lin Fei saw it clearly from the side, as expected from a shard that ordinary experts couldn't lift. This was definitely a good item. However, this person was one step ahead of him. It didn't matter, though. This would let him know that this shard wasn't simple. This fellow's strength was also very formidable. He actually possessed the eternal aura. Although the eternal aura within his body wasn't much, this fellow was definitely a level stronger than them. He was just below Lin Fei. Lin Fei had an eternal god body now, so he was naturally different. "You helped me take it out. Now you can hand it to me." When the shard was in midair, a hand reached out. This hand was really simple and ordinary. It grabbed the shard. However, the weight of the shard was transferred over. At the same time, the starlight in the sky turned into a cold light. It slashed down. "You dare to take my item? You really don't know what's good for you." The white-haired young man was a little angry. There was actually someone who dared to fight with him at this moment. At the same time, he noticed the black-robed young man not far away. She had noticed him from the start. She felt that this black-robed young man wasn't simple. However, after checking him out, he didn't seem as strong as she thought. She didn't pay much attention to him. He had never imagined that this fellow would actually dare to make a move and even dare to fight with him for the fragment. He simply didn't know what was good for him. With his other hand, he sent out a palm strike. The starlight that filled the sky turned into a meteor shower that came crashing down. His methods were extremely terrifying. These meteor showers contained traces of eternal energy. Even Buddha Lord and the others felt immense pressure. They couldn't withstand it at all. "You really do have some ability. No wonder you dared to come here. However, I saw this fragment first, so you can only stand aside. Who asked you to be weaker than me? I just so happened to have something to ask you. Who asked you to come at such a good time?" Lin Fei gently slapped out with his palm. As if he was slapping something away, all the meteors flew back. It smashed beside the white-haired young man. The white-haired young man was caught off guard. The power of these meteors was quite strong. A suit of armor immediately appeared on the other party's body, wrapping him up tightly. He blocked all the attacks one by one. So you're still hiding your strength. You're quite strong. However, your strength can't compare to mine. You'll never know how strong I am. The white-haired young man waved his hand, and the fragment came crashing down. The ground moved along with it. Now, I'll let you know what true strength is. I'll let you know that there's always someone better out there. A huge figure walked out of the starlight world behind him. When this figure walked out, everyone felt as if they had fallen into a world of starlight. This figure actually slashed down with a saber. It was like a meteor streaking across the sky without a trace. This saber was much stronger than the previous one. It contained the aura of space-time. In an instant, it arrived in front of Lin Fei. It was extremely fast and ruthless. In other words, this kind of figure had a huge advantage in terms of speed. When the first saber slashed down, the second followed closely, forming a chain of attacks. It was no wonder that ordinary people couldn't withstand this saber. It was truly ferocious. Chapter 50-187. The strength of the figure was simply too strong. It was simply unstoppable. At the very least, in the eyes of Divine Lord Zemu and the others, this young man from the outside world was unbelievably strong. Every single one of his attacks had the combat strength of a 10-star expert. Moreover, he had precise control over his strength. His attacks were even more powerful. If they were to encounter them, they would probably be killed by these powerful forces in the blink of an eye. Seeing this, they were terrified. They didn't know if the person in front of them would be able to withstand it. However, at the very least, the person who attacked just now definitely didn't have good intentions. For example, Divine Lord Rakesh was injured because he said something wrong, let alone these people. Not to mention these people, so in their hearts, they still hoped that this young man could win. As long as the black-robed young man won, it wouldn't be too dangerous for their world. However, it would be a different story if someone else won. They were also people who knew some information. From time to time, some powerful forces would invade other worlds. They were the strongest among them. If even the black-robed young man couldn't stop this person, it was easy to imagine what would happen to them. Therefore, they really hoped that the black-robed young man would win. Sensing the powerful stance of this young man, they were still somewhat worried. They were afraid that the chances of him winning weren't very high. The person who attacked Huang Tianen also didn't take these people seriously. His eyes were fixed on the Stargate. This was the thing he wanted the most. He didn't expect to find it in the Broken Land. However, these people didn't treat this thing as a treasure, which made him heave a sigh of relief. If this thing was treated as a treasure, it wouldn't be easy to take it. However, as long as he could intimidate these people, everything would be fine. Whether this thing was good or not, only he himself knew best in his heart. It wouldn't be a big deal for others to take it, but it was different for him. There was a loud rumbling sound. This figure kept attacking, slash after slash. His moves were incomparably overbearing. It would be very difficult for others to block it. However, as he attacked, he realized that this young man seemed to be stronger than him. He was actually able to block it. The other party's blocking was different from what he had imagined. He didn't use any offensive methods. He relied purely on his body's defensive power to block the attack. He didn't even have any other methods. A hint of surprise appeared on Huang Tiannan's face. He never thought that he would meet such a powerful fellow in such a small place. Lin Fei also felt that this guy must have come from somewhere else and was definitely an expert among experts. This attack was extremely terrifying. If not for the fact that he had already refined a portion of the immortal bloodline, he probably wouldn't have been able to deal with it so easily. This fellow was definitely very strong. He could easily suppress an expert from a world. At the very least, his chances of winning were 50-50 or even 60, 70. Such a person wasn't someone that just anyone could resist. It was indeed very terrifying and dangerous. I didn't expect that there would be an expert like you in such a small place. Are you interested in following me? I can bring you along to live a good life." Huang Tianan laughed and stared at Lin Fei. "I'm sorry, but I'm not that interested in that. I even have to tell you that I've taken a liking to this item. You're a step too late, so you can scram now." Lin Fei laughed and threw out several punches. Each punch landed on the illusory figure's body. The illusory figure received an attack. After a series of explosions, the illusory figure kept retreating as cracks appeared on its body, following which, with a whoosh, the figure shattered. Lin Fei immediately burst forth with a super powerful technique. It was purely a close combat technique, and he directly destroyed the phantom image. This shocked Huang Tianan. This illusory figure could be considered a powerful technique, but this guy managed to block it. "I didn't think that there would be someone as strong as you in a place like this. Not bad, not bad. However, you're still not my match. No one will ever be able to snatch what I've taken a liking to." Suddenly, Huang Tianan formed a seal with both hands, and a huge seal pressed down. The moment it pressed down, it immediately felt different. God, Lord Zemu, and the others naturally couldn't block it. Their faces turned pale and their bodies trembled. This was definitely the technique of an eternal expert. "How is it? You've never seen my eternal technique, right?"